sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys?
Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business, car key replacements, and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
views expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
We are ready to rock and roll on a beautiful Monday. Not a perfect Monday, of course, because it's not a winning Monday. So that one's kind of tough, and I get all of that. So hang in there, folks. I know it's not easy, but we'll get through it, man. We'll get through it. I was just going back and forth with one guy on Twitter. He was like, well, if they lose this week, the season's over. It's like, this is football, man. Everything is glorious when it's going well, and the second there's a little adversity, that's it. All hell breaks loose. I wonder sometimes with some of you out there's a lot of you that aren't married, right? There's a lot of you that have problems with relationships and commitment. I think so. I think there's a lot of you out there that really haven't, maintained relationships for a long time, because the way I watch you quit on things so quickly and so fair-weatheredly, you know what I mean? You got to suck in relationships, because, whether it's a work relationship or a personal relationship or a friendship, or a business relationship, everything is going to have some rocky roads, right? But do you work it out? Do you figure it out? Or the second you hit a rocky road, you're like done with that person? You know what I'm saying? You know that what's that cancel culture? We've got cancel fans. All right. We've got cancel culture fans, CCFs, cancel culture fans. So one guy was like, yeah, no, if they lose this week, it's over. There's 11 games left. If Tua comes back, which I don't really think this week, I was thinking yesterday, maybe they speed it up a little bit, They look around and go, hey, Tua, you checking out all right? Yeah. You feeling good? Yeah, man, I could have played last week. Well, then let's go. We can't have this shit anymore with Teddy and with Skylar. We need you to get back in there right away. That kind of stuff. So who knows? But it is hilarious to see how fair-weathered some of you are, man. It is just funny, man. Really. And how you quit on people and quit on your teams right away. Look, I get it when it's hopeless. This situation with the Dolphins is not hopeless. Okay, now I need to find out about Teron Armstead. Is he going to come back? Is he out for a week or two? Is he done for the year? What's the deal with Teron Armstead? Okay, we need to find out about that. But Byron Jones, is he going to come back? Because now I have to ask, is he going to come back, right? That has to be the question now with Byron Jones. I don't want to hear any more about that he's mending. I don't give a shit about that anymore. I want to know, is he coming back? Was the injury and the rehab, was it a disaster or something? What's going on? So is he coming back? And then the X thing, well, it looks to me, I got to tell you something, looks to me like the player and the team screwed up. How do you develop a second groin injury? That's because you played through the first one. So they didn't handle that the right way, clearly. Don't care what they tell me. I need to know about those kind of things. Now, if you're going to get these guys back, then they'll be fine. Everything will get going again. But you can't play without your starting tackles and your starting corners and your starting quarterback. You can't do it. Can't do it. Where's Mike Singletary when you need him? Can't do it. Can't coach him. Can't win that way. You can't. No one is going to win practically without their starting quarterback, their starting tackles, and their starting corners. That changes everything. The 5 most important positions in the NFL. Are you ready? Quarterback, left tackle, number 1 wide receiver, pass rusher, shutdown corner. You're missing 3 of the 5. Not only are you missing 3 of the 5, you're missing both of your starting corners and both of your starting tackles. The 5 positions that you can pay in the NFL in the cap. Those are the 5 positions you pay. Outside of that, you kind of work everything else around those guys. If you're paying anybody outside of those 5 positions, they've got to be incredibly special. But that's the foundation of your team. The Dolphins are missing 3 of those 5 pieces and double of 2 of those. Can't win that way. So the season's not even close to over. They've got plenty of time to get on track and win. But we have to know the information. We have to know what's going on with Teron Armstead. We need to know how bad it is with X. We need to know when the hell Byron Jones is going to get back. And if it's within, a respectable time frame here in the next week or 2 or 3, then you can kind of get back on track. And Tua, look, I've been telling you, I think it's Pittsburgh, right? I've told you that. And yesterday, I don't know, would they speed it up a little bit for Minnesota? Teddy Two Gloves didn't really suffer a concussion. So he's not really in concussion protocol. He should be available this week, but, it's not like Teddy instills any kind of confidence for me. I'm just, I have to be honest. I've never really been a real believer of Teddy Bridgewater as a quarterback at the NFL level. Great kid and all that stuff, but it's not something that really gets me feeling confident. You can at least be serviceable with him, but he's not the guy you want moving forward. You just want him for finishing a game, a week or 2, but for the season, you're done if Teddy Bridgewater is your quarterback. But at least if you can get through a week or 2 with him, you can do that. So we'll see what happens this week with Teddy. I would imagine that he's going to be available. The question is, what do you do with Tua? And where does the whole Tua situation stand? 855-912-1056. By the way, today is Monday. So Monday and Fridays, baby, the Sports Grill, Miami Dolphins Fantasy Football Zone. The Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone. So make sure you send in your questions. The best way I can find your questions, send them into the text line, to the Welton Rayom text line, 855-912-1056, 855-912-1056. Andy will join us at noon. Sean, what do you got for us, sir?
No, I have a question because it's not on the Dolphins rushing them back, right? Because the NFL has to release them from the protocols, right? Or how does that work? Because I'm not 100% sure.
I guess he's in the protocol. Listen, I don't know exactly myself, but apparently he's in the protocols. And once he is cleared for the protocols, then he's able to practice and prepare and play for a game. Okay. So this week he was already ruled out.
Yeah.
We'll find out today if Mike McDaniel wants to rule him out right from the get-go, or does he leave the door open for him to return. That'll be interesting today in the press conference because he will be asked and then he will have to answer one way or the other. If he says it's a decision for later in the week, well, then now it's open for him to play. If he says he's done, then you know that they were going to take that whole, stance of, all right, let's give him a couple of games, all that kind of stuff. I'll tell you this. If they make him available for this week, in their eyes, he only suffered one concussion. Now, if you hold him out this week, it's because the optics of the double concussion like we all thought he may have had on Sunday against the Bills, then, they are looking at it that way, and that's why they're holding him out an extra week. That's the way I'm going to look at it, but we will find out. What time does McDaniel talk? Do you know, Sean? I forgot to look it up now, but might be like 12:30, right?
I believe it was 12:45, but I'll double check.
12:45, right? Okay. All right. So we will try to we have Andy Behrens on at noon, and we usually go about 15, 20 minutes with him. So we will be available for 12:30, 12:45, whatever it is when McDaniel goes, and we will carry that press conference for you. And then we will react off of that press conference. So we will have all of that for you. Ira Winderman is set to join us at the bottom of the hour. Alan Poopart will join us in hour number 2 at 11:30. Andy Behrens will join us at noon. That is the lineup. Plus, we'll have the McDaniel press conference. Yes, sir.
4:30.
Oh, damn.
Apparently, no practice today, just meetings. So it's after all the meetings.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I don't know if I'll come back at 4:30 for the press conference. I can't tell you that. But if not, we'll have reaction from it tomorrow. Something along those lines. I'm a little tired to come back and do a second show for that. By the way, Jamie Zorria chiming in from San Jose. I see on the chat board, and Steve Chapman and Greater Good and Too Extreme. Ian from Brooklyn says, at least we put Skylar stuff to bed now and focus on Tua like it should be. Yeah, the Skylar Thompson stuff is we're done with that, right? It's over now. That's it. No more Skylar Thompson should start, and Skylar Thompson over Tua. Remember that one? Those of you driving around or at your office or home watching the show, or if you're listening, I'm just wondering, those of you that said Skylar Thompson should start over Tua, just, and I mean, there's got to be an appreciation for Tua like never before, right? Right? There's got to be that. Has to be. Because now after you're watching all this stuff, you've got to be like, okay, yeah, I appreciate Tua a lot more. And you look at quarterbacks around the NFL, and you were watching Tua play better than most of those guys. So that's the good thing, that I would imagine the appreciation level for Tua has gone way up. Way up. And it should be that way. Looking at Bitcoin there, 19.4. Still holding strong. Yep. Skylar debate over. Neo Gazillo says, what a surprise. The UNC at the Buffalo game followed the NFLPA protocols. What are you going to do, my brothers? And you saw the whole Brady one. They ragdolled him and they called it a penalty. Oh man.
Hey,
and it wasn't that bad, by the way. Yes.
The NFL was trying to clean that up too on the Sunday Night Football, by the way.
What do you mean trying to clean what up?
It wasn't for the hit. It was because he stepped on Brady after the tackle. Although I haven't seen any part of it where he steps on Brady at all yet. So
and they called it roughing the passer. They didn't call it stepping on his hand.
Yeah.
That would have been unsportsmanlike conduct, by the way, not roughing the passer.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm just saying that's what they said. It wasn't for the hit it. It was for him stepping the way he stepped on Brady after.
The NFL is the league that is the most full of shit. There is no league more full of shit than the NFL. None. It just doesn't exist. They are the league most full of shit because nobody ever holds them accountable. And they can get away with it, and they can get away with the Ray Rice disgust. They can hide the Daniel Snyder, you know that there's a whole mess behind this whole Snyder thing. And this is just a time bomb that they're trying to keep quiet. But the day that they're able to access all those emails and expose a lot of people, not just John Gruden, and that's what they're doing now. But this is the NFL. They've been Teflon forever, dude. They lied to their players about brain injuries and the damage that the game does, and nothing. It's just a couple lawsuits because we love football so much. We will overlook everything. We will overlook all the abuse of women. Women will overlook the abuse of women because they'll keep watching the NFL. And they're Teflon, dude. Teflon. Nothing sticks to them. It doesn't matter what it is. They overcome it all. They don't get hurt by any of this stuff. It truly is amazing. It's impressive how they can get away with all of this. Ho Yoon, thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. As always, a happy Monday from Ho Yoon. Thank you, sir. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. You can even donate Bitcoin at Cash App. We always love when you donate Bitcoin on Cash App. It's always a beautiful thing. Nothing wrong with that. But thank you, Ho Yoon. Appreciate you as always. Suds, he says, do we have a running game now? It's getting better. But remember, think about this. You have all your injuries at tackle, and you were still able to get creative enough to run the ball, which is pretty amazing. It is. It's pretty amazing to be able to pull that off. Mostert yesterday, what was it? 18 rushes, right? 118. What is that? 18 rushes, 113 yards, and a touchdown. And he looks good. And let me tell you, remember, he's coming off a knee injury, so you've got to be careful. 18 rushes is a lot of work for a guy like that who is about a year removed from a knee surgery. So you'd like him to, you want to make sure you take care of him. You've already overworked X, and that's why he got a second growing injury. You have to be very careful how you handle Mostert. What you'd like to do, Chase is screwed up a couple times there. You'd like to see him become more of a factor. Gaskin ended up jumping him in that game. And it's like, yo, Chase, what the hell's going on? Wake the hell up. But you need that 1-2 punch. Mostert is not a bell cow. And in fact, Cameron Wolf yesterday joined us, and we were talking about it, and he goes, well, you got to lean more on the running game. And that's what I mentioned to him, that Mostert already had 18 carries. For a guy coming off a knee surgery, that's enough. It's the other guys that have to do their part and help out Mostert and help out the running game. So Chase needs to pick it up. You know what I'm saying? I won't say that they have a running game yet, but at least they found a way to create some plays yesterday in that running game. So I will give them credit for that. Drago says, good morning, Big O. You're correct. I've been saying for 3 weeks, people are going to appreciate Tua a lot more after his replacements play. For Tua, blessing in disguise. Yep. Big O, how long until the NFL becomes the NFFL, the National Flag Football League? Well, when they do that night, the game's over and they'll never make money again. So, as I was telling a friend of mine, it gets to a point where you have to let them make their own decisions. We can't control them. These are grown men. College kids in high school, you can protect them from themselves. But if a player now, you come up with this crazy-ass protocol now, and you're taking people out for nothing, like Teddy Bridgewater, who did not need to leave the game yesterday. So you're not in concussion protocol. You didn't suffer a concussion, but you're holding him out. Get out of here, bro. You're going to cost somebody a playoff game. You're going to cost somebody their incentives. You're going to cost somebody a job. So to me, this is where it gets a little crazy, because if somebody's checking out and they want to go back in, but you're using, well, you stumbled. Oh, get the hell out of here, bro. Give me a break. Meanwhile, we're watching UFC fighters just get pummeled and pummeled and pummeled in the face round by round. You don't think concussions are going on inside that fight? You don't think people in boxing or MMA are suffering concussions in rounds while they're getting that standing 8 count? You don't think there's a effing concussion going on a whole bunch of times? You ever seen their eyes? You ever seen guys that are all whacked out because they got knocked from here to kingdom come, and then they come back and win the fight? What are you going to do? This is their livelihood. This is what they chose. This rule now goes to an extreme that is not good for the game. It's not good for gambling. Not good for gambling. Not good for gambling. It gets to a point where we're just ridiculous. And we're overreacting, and we're taking this sensationalistic approach. They know what they got into. It's a brutal game. It's just the way it is. But we can't get to the point where we want to make the game soft, because you can't sell the game that way. The reason why it's sold, it's because it's brutal. That's why the UFC has climbed so much. Big O, the good news from yesterday is that, to me, Skylar proved he can very likely grow into a backup role. Kid can play. Yeah, there's no doubt. He just wasn't ready for these kind of moments. You know, I had one guy, no, Skylar doesn't have it. I wanted to see him play. Now he doesn't have it. One, you're an idiot for thinking that Skylar should play now, and you should admit it to yourselves. And then you're an idiot if you just gave up on Skylar because of his performance yesterday. It's like one way premature, and then the other way premature. None of it is fair to Skylar. Putting him out there yesterday when he's not ready for that. And then the other one is giving up on Skylar because of his performance yesterday, which is ridiculous also. Kid has a lot of talent. He could easily grow into the position and become a backup, and has the talent to be a starter in the NFL. But my Lord, he needs to learn and get experience. Like I said yesterday, the problem mostly with Skylar than anything else is you out there. You out there. That you keep going, well, you got to give the kid a chance. Look at Tom Brady. And you idiots use Tom Brady as the example like it's common. Tom Brady's been in the league for 20 years, and no other 6th or 7th rounder is kicking ass in the NFL. None. Which means what? Doesn't happen a lot. In fact, it may never happen again in your lifetime. Maybe it happens, but another 20 or 30 years from now. So all you idiots out there that all you use is Tom Brady because Tom Brady is the only example. But you make it sound like it happens all the goddamn time. And that's where you sound stupid, because it's ridiculous. But those of us with common sense and we understand the game, we tell you Skylar's not ready for this. He wasn't playing real defenses. He wasn't playing number ones and even number twos. He was playing 3s and 4s, and there were no scheming, no nothing. We try to explain that to you. Those of us that actually understand football try to explain it to the people that clearly don't understand football. But no, you want to lean on Tom Brady like it's something that happens all the time. It's just ridiculous. That's all it is. Kareem Armstrong, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Very nice of you. We've been here before. Remember, this year is number 1 for McDaniel. By the way, we are the apologies to McDaniel for allegedly mishandling Tua. Nobody's going to remember. Here's the thing. Most of us did not track the people that wanted Skylar. I'm not tracking you. So remember, a lot of you that say these stupid things, nobody's coming after you. They don't track what you say. So you're safe. So the people that were going after McDaniel for mishandling it, nobody's tracking what they're saying. I don't know which one of you said it. You know, once in a blue moon, I might remember somebody for some stupid thing, but most of you, I don't know which one of you was saying it, whether McDaniel was at fault or the Dolphins were at fault or that Tua can't play or that Tua has a noodle arm or that Skylar should play or that Teddy Bridgewater is going to take Tua's job or you should trade for Garoppolo or that, hey, let's go trade for Lamar Jackson in the middle of the game against the Ravens in the first half. Nobody's tracking the stupid shit you say. So you can throw your stupid shit out there and nobody's going to hold you accountable. I mean, it's a beautiful place to be. You get away with saying one stupid shit after another, and nobody ever holds you accountable. That's why you can't do this job. Because you'd be wrong 99% of the time. Because that's what fans do. Fans are fanatical. They're not sensible. That's why they say stupid shit like start Skylar. You know, so that's the beauty of some of you out there. You get to hide behind anonymity. Nobody cares. Nobody's tracking what Bob in Plantation said, or Carlos in West Palm, or John in Montana, or Al in San Francisco. Nobody cares what Polly said in New York. Okay? No one. None. And in Houston, she said, McDaniel doesn't know anything. He threw Tua back out there. He's irresponsible. Nobody gives a shit what Ann said. So, have at it. Keep going. Ron, McDaniel didn't mishandle anything. Yeah, no, I know everybody's going to say that now. That's not what I was seeing on the chat board last week. You know what I'm saying? NorCal says the concussion protocol might have cost me a 14 parlay this week. It's going to happen. And NorCal, you might be joking, but eventually it's going to cost you one. Because you're going to go, hey, that guy's fine. He can come back. What, like Teddy Bridgewater. The Dolphins got screwed yesterday. I just want you to know that the Dolphins got screwed by the new rule. Teddy Bridgewater did not have a concussion, did not suffer a concussion, but you held him out. That's bullshit, man. So Dolphins are forced to play a third stringer? Yes, sir.
Not only that, but later in the game, Evan Barrios did get up wobbly and was never taken out.
Oh, Braxton, you mean? Yes.
Braxton,
yes.
I'm sorry. You said Evan Braxton.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. And this is not something that I'm happy about. And listen, I'm not the guy that's in the sensationalist category. Like 90%, 99%. What would you say? 99% of the media are going in the sensationalist way of the whole, concussions and this and that and all. Oh, give me a break. Enough already. It's a joke, is what it is. It's all I can tell you. You know me, on this show, we just like to babble. We babble, and we babble a lot. And if you're like me, and maybe you want to learn a foreign language, or maybe you regret not learning an extra language, when you were in school, well, it's never too late to start with Babbel. It's the language learning app that has sold more than 10 million subscriptions. Thanks to Babbel's addictively fun and easy bite-sized language lessons, you can finally cross-learn and learn a new language right now off your list. Cross it off, baby. Go, I want to learn some Spanish. I want to learn some German. I want to learn a little Italian. Well, or how about, when you learn a little Spanish, if you're in Southern California, you got Las Chicas there. You got it here in South Florida, maybe in Texas and Chicago. You got some of the Latin ladies. You want to meet some of those Latin ladies? Babbel's going to help you, baby. 10 minutes to complete a lesson right there. You can start having a real-life conversation in a new language in just as little as 3 weeks. Other language learning apps, they use AI for lesson plans, but Babbel's lessons were created by over 150 language experts and voiced by real native speakers, not computers. This way you can kind of pick up the accent and the pronunciation, and you can kind of sound a little natural, which is actually really cool. Their teaching methods have scientifically been proven to be effective, and with Babbel, you can actually choose from 14 different languages, including Italian, French, German, and Spanish. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you to improve your pronunciation and your accent. And there's so many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition, with the lessons that you can learn, you can also access podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even live classes. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. Start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. Right now, you can get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to Babbel.com/Big O. That's Babbel.com/Big O for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life. All right, let's get into a little basketball talk. Let's get into our Acura Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
There he is, ready to go. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm doing good. A little over a week till it gets for real, but I'd say for what they have in place right now, things are coming together rather well during the preseason.
I got an interesting one that I want to bring up to you because it was brought up in your Ask Ira, and it was asked, and you and I have talked about this many times, is the luxury tax becoming a thing for the Miami Heat? And here's what I want to ask you. So you're not willing to go over the tax for PJ Tucker, but now you sign Udonis Haslem. So then you've got the whole Kane situation. Now you sign him to a two-way deal, but you also had to sacrifice somebody else in the process. And then we kind of keep hearing that, well, they're not willing to go into the luxury for Jamal Kane or any of these other young guys because you don't do that. But if you're not willing to go into PJ Tucker or Jamal Kane or anything like that, then you're just waiting for the one superstar move. That's the only way you're going to go about it. But if you want to be this developmental team, well, then here are the lumps you're going to have to take. And the negatives of finding a Jamal Kane is, well, add it to the group of young guys that you have now, but you got to worry about a tax. To me, when I hear a billionaire worried about a tax, it just rubs me the wrong way. It's not, optics. It's not good for optics because you're asking fans to commit to season tickets and to do all of that. And they've got to, there are people that it's probably 10, 15% of their income their entire year, those season tickets. They're busting their ass to go to games. Can we say that the owner is willing to max out all the time to try to win? And maybe is that a fair question right now?
I would put it this way, without getting too much into Orlando Alzagary's income bracket. Orlando, you leave your house today, you're walking out to the mall, you see $1 bill on the ground. Do you bend over to pick it up?
Hell yeah, bitch.
Okay. So your $1 bill you're picking up. So for you to summarily tell Mickey Harrison and Nick Harrison,
nasty-ass penny,
just wait. I want to give you perspective. You're asking them to just overlook the $10 million luxury tax payment they get by staying under the tax. So in other words, I'm trying to make apples to apples by saying Orlando Alzagary, gazillionaire, is willing to bend over and pick up $1 bill there at a mall. And Mickey Harrison and Nick Harrison are saying, you know what? $10 million, that's still a decent amount of money for our business. That's the thing. The payoff is so significant in the NBA this year because of teams like the Nets and teams like the Warriors.
Meanwhile, the taxpayers pay for his arena, his upgrades on his arena. Stephen Ross pays for all his upgrades in his arena. Jorge Mas builds a stadium for fun in Commercial Boulevard that's nearly $200 million, a stadium he's going to abandon when he builds the one in Miami that a minor league team will be playing there, and only a couple hundred people, friends and family, are ever going to show up there. So while I'm watching Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu pour in millions over at War Memorial and build practice arenas, meanwhile, we keep giving Mickey Harrison handouts.
And I would say, and again, I'm just trying to take an even line here, the amount of money Mickey Harrison has put into the Miami Heat that has exceeded the salary cap has been overwhelming. Now, Orlando, in sports where there's a hard cap.
That's his requirement.
Okay, no. In sports where there's a hard cap like the NHL, you have a set limit. You're never going to go over that. As you know, we have lost quality players over the year. The NFL, to a degree, is the same way. You get in trouble, you have dead money, you can't spend extra, it makes it easier for Stephen Ross. This is why Mickey Harrison, when they had the last NBA lockout, said, I want a hard cap. And he wanted a hard cap because if he had cost certainty on one end, it would be easier to handle the ancillary on the other. But over the years, during the Big Three era and the money he's put out, I mean, hell, Big O, I'll put it this way. You talk about contracts the Heat have given out. You certainly are not a fan of the Duncan Robinson contract. You certainly were not a fan of the Kyle Lowry at age 35 contract. You certainly had question about the Jimmy Butler playing through his 30th birthday on that contract. And I think it only took you a couple of months before you said, what the hell are they giving Hassan Whiteside $98 million for? The Heat have spent.
I was against all those contracts.
Right. The Heat have spent money.
And on top of the bullshit that they sold all you guys that you all kept rewriting. Oh, these are interchangeable contracts. They weren't interchangeable until the back end of their deals.
Yes.
Then any deal becomes interchangeable at the back end because
they did get off the money earlier. But the point being is they put money into the products. You might call it fool's money, just like you did with the Adama Sue contract. You were ahead of that also. So what I'm saying is, I don't think you can go on here on the Big O show and the Acura Pembroke Pines report and say Mickey Harrison is not spending. I think what you can say is he's misspending or putting his money in the wrong place.
We're not putting enough. We're not putting enough. I mean,
in the payroll,
how do you not bring back PJ Tucker, man?
You don't bring up PJ Tucker because of a structural flaw in the CBA that makes you hard capped so you couldn't make a bigger move. Look, here's the deal, Big O. I sat down and I spoke to the Heat, and they said this, and I agree with this. If they knew everything on July 1 that was going to happen, that Kevin Durant was going to go back to the Nets, that Donovan Mitchell was going to wind up in the Cavaliers, if they knew that entire landscape, there is no question the nominal amount of extra money for PJ Tucker, probably $4 million total over 3 years, they would have spent. That was a procedural matter because they didn't want to be hard capped in case they wanted to make a bigger move. That's different than the tax. Here's part 2 of the tax. You can't be 3 things at once. You can't be a defiant non-taxpayer, and you have that right. You can't be a developmental team wanting to maximize your developmental opportunities, which means extra contracts, and you can't be sentimental when it comes to Udonis Haslem coming back for 20th season. So I think where we stand with the Heat is this. They tried to do everything.
It's funny, but you're unsentimental to bring back Wade, but you're sentimental to bring back Udonis Haslem.
Dwayne Wade was a hell of a lot more productive in the 2017
I know, but
season.
that's my point, that there was no excuse not to bring back Wade. You chose to give the money to Whiteside instead of Wade. It's like, I'm just saying.
And that's the thing. When you try to be everything to everyone, you get caught in the middle. What upsets me to a degree about this, and again, upset's the strong word because we're sitting here talking in October, is if you had a roster spot and paid the tax for Jamal Kane, you could have signed him to a long-term deal that if he has a good season, just like Caleb Martin, all of a sudden he's a free agent at the end of the season on his two-way deal, and then you're wondering, can you afford to bring him back? Do you bring him back instead of someone? Do you lose Yurtsevin? Do you lose Gabe Vincent? Do you lose Max Strus? You get into that jackpot because you didn't fill that 15th roster spot. All that you had to do yesterday was say, Jamal Kane is signed to our 15th roster spot. He has a partial guarantee for this year, fully guaranteed January 10th. He also has 2 non-guaranteed or team option years, however you want to make it. And then if the kid blossoms, he's your guy. You're not all of a sudden you develop this guy and now you can't keep this guy anymore, like the concern was with Caleb Martin last offseason. That's a factor of the luxury tax. So PJ Tucker was a factor of the hard cap. That might still be in play. There still might be a blockbuster. Your friend Miles Turner, your friend John Collins, you might need to be soft cap for that. But when it comes to the luxury tax, you can go in there and simply say, we're not going to take a $10 million check from Adam Silver this year and move forward. But again, like I've tried to make this analogy, I'm probably bending over for a quarter. And I think you are too, from the humble roots you were raised in. If you're probably not a penny or a nickel, but if you see a quarter on the ground, you're probably going to bend over and pick it up.
Yeah, I'm getting that quarter. I'm getting that quarter, baby. Yeah.
You're getting the damn quarter.
Nasty ass penny is not what I'm doing. I'm not doing the nasty ass penny.
So is the Arizons are saying this is $10 million. And whether we're billionaires or multi-billionaires, it's still a business decision. I get where they're coming from. I think by trying to be all things to all people, that's where they're getting caught in the middle. That's disappointing to me. And you know what, Big O? I think that's disappointing to Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler. Because here you are trying to maximize their careers at age 33 and 36 respectively, and yet you're saying, we're also going to take care of youth on our roster, we're also going to take care of sentimentality on our roster, and we're also going to take care of the luxury tax. So there is a little bit of the middle there. On that part, I do fully agree with you.
All right. Jamal Kane, let's get into that. Explain to everybody in layman's terms, since you understand all this two-way contract gibberish stuff and all the different types of deals. What is it that they did to sign him and then release the other dude? I forgot the guy that they
Darius Days. And they released Darius Days. So what they did is basically they wanted Jamal Kane, but they didn't want to go into the tax. They didn't want to have to cut Haywood Highsmith. They could have done it that way also. So they cut him to it. And I liked him. He had a very nice finish in Memphis the other day. So basically, right now, Jamal Kane can play up to 50 regular season games, but is not playoff eligible. But that's fine. They have enough wiggle room under the cap that the last day of the season, they can convert him to a standard deal and have him eligible for the playoffs. What it means more than anything is they did it again. So when you and I are talking about Heat draft choices, you can't trade a draft choice, and they don't have any second-round picks. What this team does is they go out, and here's an interesting point, Big O. This team's not afraid of older rookies. This kid is a fifth-year senior. He played 4 years at Marquette. He played a year at Oakland University, the same school where Kendrick Nunn finished his collegiate career. So many teams are going, the kid's 23, 24 years old. He's too old to develop. The Heat know he's a mature player who could also help us right now, and he can. What I'm curious about, Big O, is this. In their wing rotation, they have Lowry, they have Butler, they have Hero, they have Oladipo, they have Struth, they have Robinson, they have Martin. I'm almost wondering, does this mean they might trade Duncan Robinson, that they might be opening a perimeter role, so they wanted another wing? Because it's interesting. They cut Darius Days, didn't really get a chance here. He's a power forward. They still don't have a power forward. But I think because Eric Spoelstra is positionless, he's saying, you know what? Give me my best 16 players on opening night, and I'll figure it out. And this kid, if you watched any of that Nets game, if you watched any of that Grizzlies game. And what mattered was this, Big O. Those teams played their starters. Kevin Durant played. Ben Simmons played. John Morant played. Steven Adams played. So this was not a kid playing a summer league game or against the team's B team. And to see Taylor Jenkins, I was sitting second row in Memphis there, looking at what the Heat had out there. And he's like, what the hell is going on? And it reached the point that John Morant was so frustrated, he got a technical foul just before halftime because of the way his team was playing against the Jamal Kanes. They find these guys. And this guy is a two-way player. This guy is athletic. And this team lacks athleticism. They did it again. So we can complain about the Heat not having draft choices. But right now, I would say this. Jamal Kane is more NBA ready right now than Nikola Jovic is. Nikola Jovic has the far greater upside, but they also took care of the present. Yeah, you got to give the scouting staff a lot of credit.
Oh, yeah. No, dude. I mean, listen, and the good thing about Jamal Kane is he plays accordingly to wherever he's at. Like you just said, he was playing against number ones and he's holding his own. And then when you brought him into the summer league, he immediately impacted right away like he was one of the better players, because that's what you're supposed to do against guys that are either at your level or lower. You should dominate them and show off. And right away in those 2 short games that he played in the Vegas, I think it was 2 games only, and he looked like, whoa, who's this guy right away? And then now you watch him here and you're like, wow, here he is again. And what was his line? 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals.
And the night before, he had 15 points and 5 steals. So he's doing it on the defensive end. He's a complimentary player. He finished 3 in over 2 games. Alley-oop passes from Nikola Jovic, so he's showing he can adapt to new players. Yeah, it's a nice little find. And again, there have been other guys. Jeremy Bouye had his moments there in Memphis. He'll be with the Skyforce, and our old friend Michael Mulder shows you never can have too much 3-point shooting, because you know what? You probably want to get rid of the Duncan Robinson contract. Max Strus will be a free agent. You never know. So you keep that shooting in your pipeline.
Yeah, that kid is just not consistent, but he has the skill set.
When he's on,
Right. I think what they're trying to do is, if we could find a way to make him consistent, then he's going to become, a weapon overall. So I see the method behind the madness with Mulder, and it makes a lot of sense. By the way, the young kid, Jovic, maybe you're right. Maybe he will not see the sunlight of the G League, because he's actually doing some stuff here in the preseason.
And again, just the fact is, I know you're saying the G League is the developmental league. You want it to work up there, but you have a chance to work with Malik Allen. You have a chance to work with Alonzo Mourning. You have a chance to work with Bam Adebayo and a veteran like Dwayne Dedmon. It might make some sense for him to get his work in here, even with Udonis Haslem pregame and those 3-on-3 sessions they have on the practice court. But man, this kid is skilled, and he's so young. I mean, you know the story. We spoke about it Friday on our Acura Pembroke Pines report when I was in Memphis. Hasn't even graduated high school. So you're talking about unlimited promise and how far the kid can go. Last play of the game in Memphis, second to last play, they had an inbound. They were up 1. The Spoelstra basically gives you a list of, you have to get it to shooter X, Y, or Z. He gets the inbounds pass. He throws it to Highsmith. He turns to Spoelstra and he goes, "I do good, coach, right?" And Spoelstra starts laughing and turns to Chris Quinn and smiles and walks away, because this kid is so eager. This kid is such a sponge. It really is refreshing.
Yeah, it's actually cool. It was fun to watch. All right, they've got tonight a little Rockets action. What are we expecting from the Heat tonight?
I think there'll be a dress rehearsal, whether it's tonight or whether it's the preseason finale Wednesday against the Pelicans. You'll see Jimmy Butler. He'll be back. You'll see Kyle Lowry. He'll be back. I mean, it was crazy. They didn't even make those 2 go to Memphis. You talk about, again, you always hear about the rigidness of Pat Riley's systems. Jimmy Butler asked for the day off. He had a coffee convention he went to. Kyle Lowry had a chance to visit with family in Philadelphia. Hey, they weren't going to play anyway. So the Heat's a lot more bending than you think. Those 2 do need court time. We need to know, is Caleb Martin the best chemistry with Bam Adebayo at power forward? Who's going to be the 3rd starting wing? It looks like it will be Tyler Hero right now. He was dealing with the injury. So you know what? They're home for these 2. I think you'll see more regulars for another reason, Big O. After Wednesday's exhibition, they go a full week before they start their regular season against the Chicago Bulls. So I think getting a little bit of work in with the regulars, I think that's important this week.
All right, there you go. What are you working on the Sun Sentinel so Heat fans can check you out?
I just posted a feature on Michael Mulder, how it's like, you talk about the portrait of insanity is keep trying to do the same thing over and over. He's just going to try to get different results. He's not quit on this team. He's going to be cut later in the week. He'll try to come back a fourth time for the Heat to show he belongs. So I'm working on that. And then I did write, as you noted, on my Ask Ira today about the luxury tax. If you want a little more detail, you can go to sunsentinel.com and you can get all the answers spelled out there.
Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch him 3 times a week here on the platform. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. We'll catch you on Wednesday with the redrecover.com Inside the Paint Show.
Looking forward to it, and then it gets real next week. Thanks, Big O.
Damn right. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Ira. That is the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right. Sundays, by the way, it's the EJD Construction.com Miami Dolphins pre- and post-game show. We'll be back on Sunday at 11 a.m. getting you ready for the Minnesota Vikings who are coming to town to take on the Miami Dolphins. And if you are looking for a contractor to redo your roof because now you are having trouble getting the insurance companies to approve you, Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties, you call Eric right now at EJD Construction, 305-433-4843. Are you looking to expand your home? Do you want to add a second floor? Do you want to add extra rooms? Do you want to maybe create an entire man cave? They can do it all for you. Modernize the kitchen. You name it, backyard. One of our listeners created kind of like a drive-in, like hangout in their patio, which was actually cool. He showed me the pictures. I don't want to say the listener's name, but they live in West Palm Beach. And I think it's not West Palm. It was Fort Lauderdale, actually. They live. And they built a whole area to hang out and a big old wall so they can watch movies outside. So it's actually pretty cool. They do all kinds of stuff, man. He built this big-ass hut for one of our listeners with a full kitchen, barbecue, grease trap, all kinds of stuff, man. So creative. When we're talking about, custom home work, they can do all those kind of things for you. And that's why you want to call EJD Construction. And again, fully insured. I tell you all the time, whether it's EJD, whether it's Cutter's Edge Pro, I would never have anybody on the platform if they're not insured because I don't want you to get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Never hire anybody. Listen, if you don't want to hire EJD and you want to hire another contractor, just please make sure whoever you hire, they are fully insured because if they get injured in your home, they can actually sue you. That doesn't sound fair, right? But that's the reality. 305-433-4843, fully insured, liability, workers' comp. They are completely covered, and they do it all. Call Eric right now. Tell him that Big O sent you. This is his personal cell number, 305-433-4843. Get those roofs fixed. We got listeners now calling him about the roof because obviously they're having issues getting their new insurance company. Plus, they want to get a better rate. So once you bring it up to a code, like they say, you will get the better rates too. 305-433-4843. All right. Let's see. Joey Vasquez. Robert Hunt is a stud, highest graded guy on the team this week again, and a top 5 guard in the league. He's played well, man. He's turned into one hell of a player. You got to get Tua back. That's really what it's all about, is getting Tua back. Okay? That's what's going to end up really helping out. Can I show you something that I think kids are getting dumber and dumber and dumber. If you can, Sean, please take down the EJD Construction board. These are kids that are rollerblading with an 18-wheeler.
Put him hanging out in the back of that 18-wheeler. Now the one idiot was punched off and open.
It's like kids get dumber and dumber as we move on in life. One little rock and you're toast, bro. Like what the hell was that? I saw that on social media. Mike McCoy posted it. Okay, Mike, I saw you posted it, and I was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, oh my God. How stupid can you be? You know what I'm saying? I can tell those kids don't have my parents as their parents. Because if my mom got a hold of that video when I was a kid, obviously none of this was available. But first of all, I wouldn't be that stupid to do those things. You know what I mean? Sure, I jump ramps with my Ashtabula. Okay, all right. I had an Ashtabula with mongoose handlebars and a fork and what were the magnesium rims? I'm trying to remember all the things that I had. But anyway, so I remember, motocross. I was a skateboarder. We would go find pools. We did some crazy shit sometimes that were, but I'm not getting on behind a truck, which you're on a highway. So if you fall, there's got to be cars behind you, as you saw the cars beside. Like, what are these kids thinking? I'm just thinking if it was like nowadays and it goes viral and one mom tells my mom, did you see your son on this? I think this was your son. And she sends him the ass kicking that I would get when I get home. I mean, the ass kicking I would get, I would rather get run over by the truck after I'm done, after my mom is done with me. Oh, man. I saw that yesterday and I was like, no, this can't be real. This has got to be fake. No, it's not. Oh, my God. Oh. Yeah, that's right. Well, an 18-wheeler fuel tank. Yeah, but I mean, those kids fall under that truck. It's just like a speed bump. It's not really going to affect anything. You know what I'm saying? What the F is going on with the youth, man, says Fugencio. Are they out of their damn mind, says Double T. The result of eating Tide Pods, says Larry in Columbus. Rosenda says, you haven't seen nothing yet until you teach high school. I know. My wife teaches high school. I hear all about it, Rosendo. The assault basketball, one person, regardless of position, makes a difference on a team. You get cheap with luxury tax, you don't win a ring. I'm just, with the whole luxury tax thing, I just have a hard time when your name is Arison that you're telling me you're worried about paying a tax. I just, that no. Sorry, dude. You got more money than God. I see what Jorge Mas is doing. I see what Stephen Ross is doing. I see what Viola and Seafood are doing. They are pouring money into our community and not taxpayer money. And so, and they pay their players too, just like Mickey pays his players. And not only do they pay their players, but then they go above and beyond other things. And I don't see that with the Miami Heat. They're not pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into the arena of their own money. But Stephen Ross is. That dude's building gondolas, bridges, tunnels, improving the suites, saving the tennis tournament, bringing an F1 tournament, building a brand new practice facility, building a hospital next to the practice facility. Yeah, that's right, goddammit. There's a hospital on the damn property. A hospital. Are you listening to me? The man's building a hospital on the property. And then I see Jorge Mas build an incredible, beautiful practice facility, training center, what's it called? A academy and a stadium for fun. Oh, I need a stadium to get by for a couple years until I get the real stadium. Listen to me. I need a stadium to get by for a couple of years until I build the real stadium. So I love what Mickey Arison, the Arison family have done with the Miami Heat. I love Pat Riley. Everybody knows that. I'm a big Riley guy. I'm a big Spo guy, but I'm a brutally honest person, dude. And it's a bad look. It's a bad look for a billionaire to say, oh, I'm worried about a tax. No, dude. Sorry. And you know what? He's the worst billionaire in the bunch to say that. You know why? He avoids all the taxes with his ships because they're not registered here. So I get it. Maybe you don't like paying taxes, but man, you know, if you're going to compete against some of these teams, they pay taxes. They do things that you're not willing to do at times, only for a specific person. You know, it bothered me you didn't want to bring back PJ. I think you do whatever it takes to bring back PJ. And you do whatever it takes to develop somebody to assist PJ in not playing him so many minutes during the regular season and save him more for the postseason. But you wore his ass out during the regular season that he had no gas left in the tank. So I'm sorry, man. It just, as much as I'm a big Arison fan and I'm a big Heat supporter and all of that, a billionaire can't cry poor to me, man. It's not a good look. It's just not. And when I look at the other billionaires and what they're doing in town and how much more money they're putting into, see, because notice how when Ira talked about it, he talked about the salaries. Everybody else does the salaries, but everybody else is also doing other things. They're building practice facilities. They're putting more money into our community. You know, Jorge Mas made our community better by that stadium in Fort Lauderdale. Now that will be able to host concerts. When that team moves and goes to Miami, that stadium will be empty. They'll have the minor league team there, and then they're going to have to play internationals there. Maybe high school games will go there. Maybe they'll bring the high school football championship there. Something, that stadium will be able to be used. And now the city of Fort Lauderdale, is going to be able to take advantage of that because Inter will probably work with them on that. So that's a benefit to our community. Stephen Ross saves the tennis tournament. So now we still have one of the best tennis tournaments in the world right here in our backyard, thanks to him. That's not what Mickey did. That's what Stephen did. And then I go over to War Memorial and go look at what Vinny Viola and Doug Seafour are doing. I'm sorry, folks. I get it. Mickey has won the titles with the Heat and Pat Riley. But your job as an owner, don't cry poor to me, bro. Sorry. I'm just it's not the kind of look that you want. That's just the way I'm going to call it. Gilbert Martinez, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Very nice of you. Dan Muller, how sad was it to see that the Jets celebrating as they won a playoff game, beat a team with a third-string QB, 2 top 15 CBs, and our best linemen? Yeah, but that's what it is. But, I mean, you're the Jets. You don't really have a lot of success, Dan. So any win for the Jets fans is a good win because, they've been a scrub team forever. So they've got to celebrate that. But that kind of goes with the territory. All right, 1 hour down. We got 2 more to go. We're already into hour number 2. Sean Stanley masters this program every single day, does an excellent job. Back with more right here on the Big O Radio Show on the Sports Talk 305 Network.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
For over 16 years, EJD Construction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJD Construction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CS, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Number 2 of the program, Sean Blanche. Thank you for the love on Venmo. He says, thanks for the consistency and awesome reporting. I appreciate you all out there. Thank you for supporting us, whether you're hitting the like button, whether you're subscribing, hitting the notification bell, visiting our terrific sponsors like NatureB. Go to natureb.com. Use our code Big O, baby. And we got a big old prize we're going to be talking about tomorrow on the program. We're going to be giving away a big prize here for NatureB. So make sure you tune in. We're going to be talking about it tomorrow on the program. So please support our great sponsors and NatureB, baby. 28 minerals and antioxidants. I'm telling you, man, when we talk about NatureB, it is just so good. It boosts your immune system, gives you great energy. You are going to love what we're going to give away tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, we're going to talk about it here on the program. So natureb.com. Ray Sosa says, Drive Pink Stadium will be left in the dust, just most of the Olympic stadiums after they're done being used. Yeah, no, but the city of Fort Lauderdale will benefit from it because I'm sure Inter will work with them using some of that. Plus, they'll have maybe some soccer tournaments there. You know, whether it's the high school state championship should be held there now. That's what, things like that should end up starting to develop there. But that's the good thing. But again, these are billionaires that are contributing to our communities and adding more things. Whereas for, I don't see that on that end. So at least don't tell me that you're not willing to pay a luxury tax. I'm just, I get it when you're Bruce Sherman. I don't get it when you're Mickey Harrison. That's all. BBYCP321 says Big O, but anyone can play QB with Hill and Waddle. No, but remember, this is how it goes with. Tua was great in Alabama because he had all that talent. Remember that? It's the same idiots. Tua can't play. He's got a noodle arm. He's too short. Oh, of course he had success in Alabama. He has all those weapons. And then you see the other guys, and then you watch Tua, and you watch other quarterbacks around the league, and I think there's another appreciation level going on for Tua. Dude, I had a buddy of mine that called me yesterday and said, dude, you were so right. Our team is screwed without Tua. I thought this guy couldn't play, and now when I look around, he's not just our best quarterback. He's better than a lot of the guys I'm watching on Sunday. And I was kind of laughing. I was going, what are you going to do, bro? You're a fool. You just were trashing the kid for no reason at all. Yes, Sean.
The Carolina Panthers have fired Matt Rule. Steve Wilkes, the new interim coach.
The guy that got fired in Arizona in his first year. Oh, man, that was coming. Come on, dude. Matt Rule was not made for the NFL, and it's over, and that's it. And Baker Mayfield. I wrote this down. Let me see. Baker Mayfield, 20 of 36, 215 yards, no touchdowns, and interception yesterday. For the season, 962 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, a 16.5 QBR. He's completing 54% of his passes, and he's absorbed 15 sacks already. And under it says, fire Matt Rule. See there, fire Matt Rule. So it's not even, I'm not even like after the fact, or I was there. I was already. and they fired him. I hadn't even gotten to that part of the show because it's not important, because I'm not a Carolina Panthers fan, but I'm sitting back going, what the hell's going on? Because this was going to be part of my conversation of how long does Dan Campbell last? Because I don't believe he makes it to next year. So I think now that they're 1-4 and there'll be changes within, I think you'll hear about a firing or something inside that staff. And then eventually the firing of Dan Campbell in the offseason, because this is year 3 and there are no results whatsoever. And that was going to be my conversation about Matt Rule and Dan Campbell, about when they're getting fired, and that Matt Rule needs to be fired already. And Dan Campbell will now, the clock now starts ticking on him, because he's not a head coach. You know, it's funny you brought that up. Damn it, Sean. Couldn't they wait till the afternoon later on after I talked about it and then said, you got to fire Matt Rule? Damn. But there you go. It is what it is. David Holt, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, I feel like Teddy was a punishment for Tua. Teddy never hit his head or stumbled, but was pulled. But Barrios did hit his head, took a knee, and stayed. The inconsistencies are disgusting. Tom Brady yesterday got ragdolled, and they called the penalty. They called roughing the passer. They didn't call stepping on the hand. It's just a joke, dude. This is all just putting lipstick on a pig for the NFL. And we have to deal with this garbage, this PR garbage. It's just, and then it's and the Dolphins end up losing from all of this. I just want Tua back, and hopefully we can get this thing back on track, and we'll be all right. Big O, aren't all coaches simply interim coaches? LOL. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. Jason M says, Big O, when is the NFL spotters going to rule out Brady, Mahomes, or Allen? Until I see that in primetime games, I call BS on the new protocols. Jason, you should call everything in the NFL BS, because it's usually is. Yes, Sean, what do you got for us?
You missed a couple super chats.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
BBYC.
I did that. Oh, okay. But Big O, anyone? No, I got that. Anyone can play with Waddle and Hill. I did that.
I'm sorry. All right.
Yeah. And I did not get Leva. Leva, thank you. There's no one out there that tells it like you do. I've been following you since Uncle Neil. Thank you, Leva. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. It's not fun to tell it like it is. It's not, the responses aren't normally, people don't want to hear the truth, dude. They want you to dress shit up and all that kind of stuff like the NFL, Mickey Harrison, as great as he is as an owner, how many people got the balls to say what I just said? Nobody. But that's just kind of the way it is, man. I'll do things and I'll say the stuff that people might be thinking of, might be willing to say, but I'm willing to say it. And I'm not going to always be right, but, we will do our best, and hopefully things do end up working out. OJ says, long season ahead, Big O. People freaking out is crazy. Bengals had a losing record middle of last season and still made it to the Super Bowl. Exactly. I'm not worried until I got to hear the Armstead news. I got to hear the X news, and I got to get X back. I mean, Tua back. So tell me what happens here. Okay. And then I can feel really good about moving forward. But I think if you get everybody back, I think you'll be fine. I'm not really that concerned. At least not right now. If you looked at the Dolphins' record, they can't win without Tua. Well, that's kind of what it's been, even with Flo. The only QB that Flo had with a winning record was Tua. It wasn't Fitz. It was Tua. Tua wins with shit.
And then Tua can win big with real talent around him, real coaching. And he has that now. And that's the only bright spot out of all this hell, is that people will appreciate Tua more. When my buddy called me, I was like, wow. I was like laughing, sitting in the background like, oh, man. You know, and he was like, you're so quiet. I go, well, because I'm kind of taken back that you're calling me and admitting that you're an idiot. I told him like that. He started laughing. And I go, you know, it's like you picked on the kid and all that, and now you realize that the Dolphins are crap without the kid. That he's the guy that can, you know, he's the straw that stirs the drink when it's all said and done. It's a matter of fixing everything around him. And if everybody else can do their job, he'll lift you. But, you know, you got to get to that point. And we need X back. We need Byron Jones to get his ass back in gear and get out there. And Teron Armstead. That one is not trending in a good direction, ladies and gentlemen. With X, at least you've gotten a lot of mileage out of him. He's played well over the years, all that. But Teron Armstead's not a Miami Dolphin. He just became a Miami Dolphin. So what he did in New Orleans doesn't mean jack here. So far, the Teron Armstead deal is trending in a terrible direction. Okay? Not a mediocre direction, a terrible direction. It's not officially a bad decision, but it's working its way to that. Okay? Because if you can't, for me, I already hold it against him that he can't practice. That's not good for your team at all. And then now you're really not available for all the games too. You know, you're stealing money. Good dude, cool guy, hell of a player when he plays, but you got to be there, dude. You got to be there. And this stuff that's gone on with him from the get-go, unacceptable. Unacceptable. Same thing. He just, and this was the risk. We all knew that was a risk. It's not working out, baby. Not working out. So still time for this to work out. Still time, but we need to know how bad that toe injury is. Orlando, remember you promised to ask Tua the question about holding. Yeah, I will. But he hasn't had a press conference yet. And we will find out from Mike McDaniel today if Tua might play, well, then he will talk on Wednesday. If he's out, then he's not going to talk on Wednesday, and I don't have to go to talk to him this week. But next week will probably be the week that I'm there to ask him about that, ask him about holding the ball too long. Need the Waddle news as well. He seems to have forgotten since Tua went down. Well, it's not a Waddle thing. It's a Tua thing. The other guys aren't Tua. So you can't expect them to do the same thing. The NFL spotter is like a Russian judge in the Olympics where one person can be the reason the game is over or award them a gold medal. Yes, sir. I agree. Ohio John says, rule fired. Nebraska better get him on the phone. Damn, Ohio John, you got high standards for him. Because if you got him turning around Nebraska, because nobody can turn around Nebraska. Holy moly, I can't understand it. I really cannot understand what's going. Maybe is it that it's just way out there and kids don't want to live there? Is that what it is? And do they not have a stranglehold on? Well, maybe their own state doesn't produce enough to carry a big-time program. But it is, wow, Nebraska was such a power, dude. They always had everything and anything that they needed. And they completely fell off the deep end. And nobody can bring them out of the abyss. BipBop66, Big O, Teddy was to blame for the opening play safety. He needs to see the mismatch online and either audible to a run or call a timeout. My brother Teddy wasn't going to save anything anyways, so it doesn't really matter. You were hoping to just get by in that game and maybe win it and eke it out, but Teddy wasn't going to be a savior of anything. Only people that really don't follow his career said shit like that. Just like every one of you out there, oh no, Teddy's going to take the job away from Tua. All you did was you did it with your heart. Teddy's a South Florida kid. I'm a South Florida guy. Teddy's an amazing individual. I'm rooting for him. He's going to get it done. The local kid over Tua. You never really watched Teddy actually play the game in the NFL. You're just a Dolphins fan. But you like Teddy because of the connections and what he did at Louisville, but not because you really know what the hell you're talking about. Because if you actually watched him play in Minnesota and New Orleans, you would have seen what I have seen for years. Just a guy. Just a guy. On his best day, he might be a facilitator. On his best day. That's all. It's simple. That's it. All those people that were rooting for Teddy and all that, none of them ever really watched him play from Louisville. That's it. They might have watched a couple Louisville games. They might have gone and see him in high school, but they never really watched the games in Minnesota. Okay? There's a reason why Minnesota said, enough's enough, bro. You're not even close to the guy. But some of you actually thought he was going to take over Tua. That's some silly ass shit, dude. Seriously. I mean, that is as ridiculous as it gets. It's almost as ridiculous as start Skylar Thompson over Tua, but it's pretty close. Leva said on Sunday night there was a graph that showed Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes releasing the ball in 0.32 seconds. Tua needs to study that. Well, Leva, when it comes to quarterbacking, please leave Lamar Jackson out of that conversation. Okay? When Lamar Jackson actually becomes a passer, then we can include him in this conversation. Okay? Tua's a better passer than Lamar Jackson with his right hand. Okay? Did you watch him yesterday? People really don't pick up on Lamar. Again, they're just wowed by the speed and the running and all that. But when it comes to passing the actual ball, okay, it's not the guy. Not the guy. And I don't know if he ever will be at this point. He's been in the league long enough to show something, and it's still a very basic and gimmicky offense. That offense will always be good in the regular season because it's so hard to prepare for. Once you get to the postseason and they can shut the run down, he'll never beat you with an arm. He'll never sit there in the pocket and pick you apart. He can't. Once in a while, he'll come in hot because he's an athlete. But quarterbacking, a passer, it's not who he is. It's not who he is. So please don't ever include, Tua as a passer next to Lamar Jackson or even Tom Brady or Mahomes. Okay? Gimmicky ass offense. Teddy's body language shows he doesn't want to play. No, dude, Teddy is not raw guy. Teddy is a calm, cool, collective type of dude. He's not going to be animated. He's not going to be pumped up. That's just not who he is, dude. So his body language, he's as pro as there is. He is a true professional. Don't question his character. Okay? We can question his physical abilities. Don't question the man's character. Teddy Bridgewater is a man's man. He's a professional. He's a great human being, and he means well. He wants to play well. And he's going to do the best from, with what he has. And that's what you have to understand. But you're jumping to conclusions and questioning a guy who has an impeccable character. Okay, that I'll defend with Teddy. You won't ever catch me defending Teddy as a quarterback like he's anything special. You'll never catch me doing that. But I'll defend the person, the professional, all of that. Good dude, man. Big O, the biggest mistake in the entire rebuild was not building an O-line that could protect Tua. How long will this go on? Well, Darren, they lost Teron Armstead and they lost Austin Jackson. I mean, you can't do anything about that. Those are two guys that are there to protect him. Robert Hunt's kicking ass, and so is Connor Williams, my friend. I keep saying Liam Eichenberg is kind of I say Michael Dieter should be playing left guard. That's just me. And we'll see if it ends up. But Darren, if you are objective about it, the center and the right guard are fine. They're playing well. Okay? It's just that your two tackles are injured. You got to get your two tackles back. And Tua has had time to throw the ball. But don't judge what you've seen from Teddy and Skylar. It's not fair. So I disagree with you completely, Darren. They need to get healthy, and I don't think that you would judge them that harshly. Big O, how is your view on Jason Sanders? I used to feel like I can take a leak when he's kicking. Now I'm biting my nails. LOL. Even though he doesn't miss much, they're close. He's not a problem right now. Let's put it that way. He's still a very good kicker. I've got to see a lot more before I get off the Jason Sanders bandwagon. Right now, I'm more worried about a lot of other things going on with the team. Look from the beginning that the Jets wanted it more. Our guys didn't look prepared. Pablo, my brother, terrible analysis. And I know you listen all the time. I see the name here all the time. That is about the worst analysis I could see. They were prepared, but you're never prepared when Skylar is going in on the second play of the game. That's just, and then when you've got no corners and no tackles, and you're in your third quarterback, I don't know how you win, man. There's not a lot of teams that are winning in the NFL with both of their starting corners, both of their tackles, and their starting quarterback out. And they're down to the third quarterback. Some people, Bailey Zappa won. Yeah, I saw that. Well, Ramondre Stevenson dominated with like 170 yards. They also got a big turnover in the game, two, but they scored on one of them. And Zappi threw like 170, 180 yards. And I think he threw a touchdown and interception, right? Or something like that. Let me see. I may have written it down. Did I? No. But I know he threw a touchdown, and I think it's a touchdown and an interception. But they're not missing their tackles, and they're not missing their starting corners. You know what I mean? That changes everything that you do. It's just too funny, man. You guys get to the fanatical point that it's crazy. That's what it becomes, crazy. Let me see. Let me pull it up here. Let me pull up a little Bailey Zappi. So I want to say it was a touchdown. And
one TD, one interception.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And 188 yards. So he wasn't anything to laugh about or say, oh my God, we got something there. Nothing. They did the same thing they kind of did with Mac last year, except they let him throw a little bit more. But there was a game against the Bills that they threw only a couple times, and it was more about running and everything else, and they won the game 6-3. Same thing. And the Lions are terrible too. Oh, my God. They are absolutely terrible. Oh, to be fair, Iggy had a nice tackle on Jerome Baker. Jerome trying to get to the outside. Iggy trips him up. Yeah. That the Iggy experiment is pretty close to over. You know? It's actually over. There's no light at the end of the tunnel with no monogamy, it looks. I'll be very surprised if we ever see anything out of Iggy that's productive. Or maybe he needs a change of scenery. Who knows? So everybody's reporting about Matt Rule being fired. Ohio John, thank you for the love on Venmo. Oh, do you think these new protocols will create bounty situations with defenses? Coaches may be willing to take personal fouls early on in a game if they know they just need to rattle offensive players to get them out of the game. Anything is possible. Anything is possible right now, Ohio John. Okay? That is one that I would have to tell you, yeah, it's very possible that could end up happening. I mean, we've had bounty gates before. Who's to say it's not going to happen again? Who's to say a couple guys, maybe it's not the coaches, but just a couple guys are talking about it and they want to do it on their own? You know? So, yeah. I could definitely see something like that. Eight 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056 if you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line. Remember, at noon, we're going to have Andy Behrens. So if you got any fantasy questions, injuries, concerns, send them in. And the best way to send them in, please, send them in on our Welt and Rayom text line. You can put it on the chat board, but wait. Save your question for noon when Andy joins us so you can I can actually see it. Okay? But if not, if you want me to see it for sure, on the Welton Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. Two Extreme says, sorry, Big O, I completely disagree about the Teddy talk. If he's smart but can't produce as a player anymore, that's not called a good backup. That's called a good position coach or assistant. Well, he can produce, but just to kind of keep you alive in games. Two Extreme, how many backup quarterbacks are coming in to win games? Almost none. So you want your backup to hopefully keep things afloat. So you're misunderstanding the entire perception of a backup. Too many of you, like you, Two Extreme, are now thinking that your backup is your savior. Your backup's not a starter. Your backup has all kinds of deficiencies. That's why he's a backup. I mean, the New England Patriots went to what's his bum's name that's been stealing money forever? Hoyer, Brian Hoyer. That's their backup. There's a lot of shitty backups in the league, dude. Chad Henne still comes off the bench for people. Is he still Kansas City's backup? Okay. Let me see who's the backup for Kansas City. That's just out of curiosity. Here we go. Is Jalen Phillips still missing? Yes, the assault. He is missing.
Looks like he's still there.
He's still the Chad Henne, bro. Chad Henne's the backup to Pat Mahomes. You think Chad Henne's saving you at all? Too Extreme? Come on, dude. Some of you have this perception for the Dolphins that doesn't exist anywhere else. So Teddy's not good enough for you, Too Extreme, but you think everybody else has got somebody better than Teddy backing up their quarterback. Come on, man. You know, we gotta We got to get back into reality. Tua's not the only one that can underthrow people. Tua's not the only one that, whatever, throws a pass that is well, it's not really an overthrower, but an underthrower, let's say. Whatever it is that you think Tua does and that nobody else does. Or whatever you think the Dolphins do and then nobody else does. I don't know how these narratives develop with some of you fans out there. But you make it sound like what happens here doesn't happen anywhere else. When tons of people have shitty backup quarterbacks. I mean, let me just hit another team for the hell of it. Don't the Raiders play tonight? Jarrett Stidham is their backup. Jarrett Stidham's not saving you, dude. Teddy Bridgewater's probably better than Jarrett Stidham. Let me see. Let me go here. Atlanta has Desmond Ridder as the backup. Teddy Bridgewater or Desmond Ridder? Do you even know who Desmond Ridder is? Cincinnati quarterback from last year. Big O, I sound absolutely absurd saying this, but Jacoby Brissett is a backup that's holding up the Browns. So there you go. What holds up the Browns is the running game, my friend. Watch the games. That's what holds up the Browns. The Browns have one of the best running games, have had the best one. Well, actually, maybe the Browns have been the best running game in the NFL the last 3 years. We probably have to give them their props in that sense. But it's not really Jabroni Brissett that is keeping them, which is their starter, right? That's not even their backup. That's their starter. What did Jabroni do yesterday? Let me see. 230 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Nick Chubb, 134 yards on 17 carries, 2 touchdowns. Okay? I didn't even see the stats, and I can tell you what carries the Browns. Okay? And if I look at their depth chart, who is the backup for the Browns? Because if Jabroni Brissett is your starter, okay? Because I know Watson is suspended. I get that. But just for the hell of it, Jabroni is your backup, right? But now he's your starter. So who's the backup for the Browns behind Jabroni Brissett? Joshua Dobbs. You volunteer to have Joshua Dobbs as your quarterback? I don't. That's all I can tell you. Too funny. Too funny, man. But don't worry, it only happens here. I have always said that there are 32 QB jobs and only about 15 or 20 people who can actually effectively do it. 5 of 7 who are elite. Probably. Maybe a little bit more for an elite. You might have a couple more, but it's not much. Half the league's quarterbacks are starters, are nothing that you really want starting. What are your thoughts of the center? Are you happy with Williams? Extremely, sir. Or I don't know if this is a lady. It says Janice. I'm sorry. Janice, I am very happy with the center. I thought with Armstead and Williams, our left side is strong. Hunt on right guard is good, so we just need the center. No, the center is fine. It's the right tackle and the left guard right now are the issues. And you've got to get Austin Jackson back, and hopefully he can do a serviceable job there. At left guard, I still say Michael Dieter is the guy that should be there and man that spot. I think the next time he gets that opportunity, I think he'll lock it down. But Eichenberg is inconsistent. Caesar says, Big O, the Colts have Nick Foles as their backup, and the Jets, Joe Flacco, both Super Bowl champions. Don't call them garbage and show some respect. Nick Foles is garbage, Caesar. Okay? At least Flacco was a legitimate starting quarterback for a while. He's older now, so he's kind of a check down Charlie now. He doesn't do much, but Nick Foles is garbage. Okay? He got on a roll for one Super Bowl run. He's garbage. Trent Dilfer is garbage, and he won a Super Bowl. Garbage. Why? Because they can make a couple of passes? Doesn't make him anything, Caesar. So I'm not sure, my brother. If you want to have this great respect for Nick Foles, you can go ahead and do that, my brother. But I have zero. At least with Joe Flacco, that's different. He was a good starting quarterback. He was a solid starting quarterback. And then when he gambled on himself in the playoffs in the Super Bowl, the difference between him and Nick Foles, because let me actually educate you, Caesar, since you lack education in this spot here. Philadelphia was a hell of a team, and the defense was really, really good. If not the best defense in the league, top 3. Go look at that Ravens defense. That wasn't the early 2000 Ravens. Ray Lewis was already cooked, and he was making tackles 5 and 7 yards downfield. The defense was middle of the pack for the Ravens. The offense carried the Ravens to the title and won it. Joe Flacco threw 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the playoff run. Okay? Now, Joe Flacco isn't anything special. But at that time, at least he had, he had the weapons and he had a gun, and he probably threw one of the best deep balls that there were. But he was hot during that playoff run. So I'll give Flacco some love, but Nick Foles, that's all fluke, dude. It's all fluke. Everything went well for him. This is Trent Dilfer all over again. That's all that is. Now, they weren't guys that were respectable quarterbacks. They were serviceable journeymen that had a couple of really good weeks. You know what I mean? And Trent Dilfer was lucky. He only had to make a couple of throws. The defense and Jamal would carry the team. Just don't screw it up, kid. Whereas Joe Flacco literally had to make plays in order for the Ravens to win it. Nick Foles and Trent Dilfer were along for the ride. They just had to facilitate. But, that's all right, my brother. You probably don't really follow it heavy. You just kind of threw it out there and pulled it out of your ass. Big O, I had to endure watching the game with my friend who's a Jet fan at a Jets bar. Not the outcome I wanted. It was rough. Yeah, Samuel, that's a tough one. To have to go there and watch the game with a bunch of Jet fans. Luisao Fuentes says, Tua's not the answer. He will never. Too slow to react to danger. He will get killed next time. Throw reckless with the offensive line. That's it. So then all you have to do is turn off the TV now, Luisao. You don't have to watch anymore. It's over. It's like my boy on Twitter this morning. Well, if they lose this week, the season's over. And I said, well, that's great. No, it's good for you, dude. You don't even have to watch the rest of the season. See you later. We'll see you next year. What is DJ Strauss? That's the guy on Twitter. And I go back and forth with DJ over the years. But hey, DJ, season's over, bro. Good chance they're losing this week. Okay? Very good chance they're losing this week because you're not getting back your starting corners. You're not getting back your starting tackles. And Tua's not coming back, and Teddy's not a savior with what's left. So there's a good chance you're going to lose this week and go to 3-3. So for those of you that think the season's over at 3-3, you might as well tune out now and forget about the rest of the Dolphin season. No reason to check up on it. It's over. How is the season over in a meaningless Week 5 game against the Jets? Well, zero staff. Zero staff. I can't tell you. This is We got people out there that it's over. It's over. Trent Dilfer said something to the effect, I'm going to hand the ball off to Jamal or look to Shannon to throw the ball. That's all I'm going to do to ensure I don't screw the thing up. Yeah. Yeah. That's all. Nothing wrong with that. That's how it goes. Tua is the answer to all our problems. In Tua we trust. Chris says, am I the only one who thinks Skylar did good for what he was thrown into? This should show how much Tua really runs this offense, being as banged up as we were. I didn't expect to win. I had no problem with Skylar. I kind of expected him to have his rough patches. I like what I saw from I like Skylar Thompson, dude. I'm a Skylar Thompson fan. I just don't want him playing right now because he's not ready for this. I'd rather him sit for the whole year, watch Teddy prepare, watch Tua prepare, see all these defenses, learn about all these coverages, watch how these guys read and react to all this stuff. And then next year, you start to groom him to be that backup quarterback, where he'll be much better prepared. He's got a whole year of education. That's what I would do with him. I don't want him out there right now. They had no choice yesterday. What are you going to do? But for those of you that thought he was ready for this, you got your answer finally. Now you can figure it out on your own. That, you know, but I'm with you. I like what I saw overall from Skylar. His mistakes were normal. Again, Marino comes off the bench and just doesn't miss a beat. Okay? That's just not normal. And it certainly doesn't happen with seventh rounders. Seventh rounders don't just come in and start taking over. That rarely ever happens. We can only come up with one guy in the last, 40 years, 50 years of football. You know, that's why it just gets so ridiculous. But I loved what I saw from Skylar. And I think there's plenty there to work with as long as the kid gets the experience. He'll get settled down. He'll get used to the game speed. He'll adjust to his decision-making, that it has to be very quick. Okay? Brett says, Big O, your sarcasm when applied to some of these posts is appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. We try to slide in a little sarcasm every once in a while. Today, it seems like we've been sliding it in a lot. That's what she said. Especially, we could save some money if Skylar develops into a good backup. That's the idea. That's the idea. You can save that $6 million and use it for something else. What else do we have? We have a game tonight, folks. We had a game yesterday. I see you have LennyLocksmith.com. You've got that banner out. Remember, if you are locked out of your home, locked out of your car, you call LennyLocksmith.com. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, hell, even Port St. Lucie. Tampa, Orlando, we've got Lenny Locksmith locations there. Phoenix, Arizona, we've got LennyLocksmith.com locations there. And since we have all those locations, we also have the Lenny Locksmith Lockdown segment.
Time to lock it down. The The Lockdown is brought to you by ALennyLocksmith.com. Services in South Florida from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, ALennyLocksmith.com locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Here's the Big O to tell you what needs to be locked down.
All right. Well, tonight we've got a game at 8:15. Last night we told you to take the Dolphins minus 3.5. Boy, that really worked out, didn't it? Yeah, 40-17. Yeah, I don't think that really worked out. 39, 31, and 3. We're 8 games above 500 in the A. Lenny lockdown segment. Kind of been going like this the last couple of weeks. Kind of 500 here the last couple of weeks. We need to get another streak going and take this not just 8 or 9 or 10 over 500. We got to take this thing to like 18, 20 games over 500. It starts tonight. Damn it, I'm pissed. 8:15, Monday Night Football. The 1-3 Raiders taking on the 3-1 Chiefs or Chefs, whatever you want to call them. Mahomes and company struggling so much without Tyreek Hill. They're 3-1 and they're favored by 7.5 points. The over and under in this game is 52, like the pickup, 52 card pickup. Anyway, Raiders plus 285 on the money line. Chiefs are minus 345 on the money line. My problem with the spread here, I like the Chiefs in this game. That 7.5 is a bitch. Now, the Chiefs are home, so I'm expecting them to kind of take advantage here. I think the Raiders are going to be playing catch-up in this game. But I'm afraid that they do have enough talent that they can make things interesting and maybe keep it close enough to stay within those points. So I'm going to go over 52 because I think the Chiefs will score their share of points and the Raiders will have to play catch-up. So I'm going to go over 52 as the play in this game, Raiders and Chiefs. Over 52. That is the lockdown segment.
The Lockdown is brought to you by ALennyLocksmith.com. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming. All model cars. 24-hour service. Call them anywhere in South Florida at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at ALennyLocksmith.com where we lock it down.
All right. There it is. All right. Let's get ready for a little fantasy football. Okay. We got Andy Behrens coming on here at the top of the hour. Get your fantasy questions in right now. Send them in on the chat board. Okay. You can super chat them if you want. They'll be easier to find on the chat board. Your fantasy questions, or you can send them in on our Welt and Rayom text line. So you can grab your phone and send us a text, send us a question at 855-912-1056. So you got fantasy questions, send them in. Also on Twitter at Big O Show. That's another way. So if you're watching on the Cuts channel, because we got people watching on the Cuts channel, we're on 2 YouTube channels right now live. So you're on the mothership here, on the Big O Radio Show, you can send it in. If you're on the Big O Radio Show Cuts channel, if you got fantasy questions, send them in. I'll go look there also, just in case. And again, Twitter and, of course, the Welton Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. Give us 2 minutes. Andy Behrens will join us. We'll talk a little fantasy football next.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmith in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Canes Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canes Wear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. PPR, draft, keeper, dynasty. It's the Sports Grill, Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Andy Behrens. Keep up with your fantasy football teams by visiting any of the 8 great Sports Grill locations. Sports Grill, good food, good drink, good friends. Here's Andy Behrens.
All right, there he is. How you doing, my man? You doing all right?
I'm doing well. I left Taysom Hill on a couple of benches. Don't need to talk about it. We're on to week 6.
Who the hell
Don't need to think
Taysom
about that.
Hill anyways, come on, dude.
You know, it's such a minefield at tight end. Tight end is so bad this year, unless you have Kelsey or Mark Andrews, that I'm completely sympathetic to anybody who just wants to have Hill on a roster and forget about the position entirely. Just plug him in there. He doesn't have his bye week until like week 14 or something like that. So you don't even have to think about the position until December.
No, I'm listen, I get it. No doubt that playing him like that, I guess it makes sense. It's just, did you really expect it? It's just one of those things that just happens. And
you can't possibly see it coming. It could happen regardless of matchup in any given week, right? We've almost certainly just seen his best game of 2022, if not the best game of his career. But they put him on the field in such rich situations. They put him on the field where they get inside the 10-yard line. So he always has the potential for 4 touches and 3 touchdowns in any stupid week. Anyway, we're on to week 6 here, Big O.
Yes. And send in your fantasy questions right now. You got something for Andy? You got a transaction you want to do, a trade, an injury, anything like that? Send it in right now on the chat board, on the YouTube chat board, either one. If you're on either channel, the Big O Radio Show or the Big O Radio Show Cuts channel. Also, you can send in your questions. And, of course, on the Welt and Rayom text line, that's 855-912-1056, 855-912-1056. And you can also send it in on Twitter at Big O Show. We've got the Twitter page up. So if you've got a fantasy question there, and you can super chat your question, you can also Venmo and also Cash App at Cash Big O Show. Many ways to reach out to us.
You can send a Raven. You can send a carrier pigeon. This is a lot of ways to reach us, Big O.
Yes, bro. Carrier pigeon. We still have a fax and everything if you want. You want to go fax? we could do that, dude. That's not a problem. By the way, while Tua's out, how do you look at, Mostert blew up something again we did not expect, but it does look like he's becoming the guy because Gaskin took over for Chase. So you look at it and you say, okay, now the wide receiving core and the tight ends, without Tua, this is like a barren waste for the
this is
top receivers.
This is really rough. We need Tyreek to be okay. We like Tyreek
we need Tua to be okay.
Yeah.
So Tyreek and Waddle will be okay.
Yeah, this is really rough, and this got rough in a hurry. I think you're probably right about Raheem Mostert. I was thinking that it was a spin the wheels situation at running back a little bit, right? But a couple weeks ago, we saw him get over 70% of the snaps, and then he kind of consolidated his hold on power. I think this past
the two
week
drops yesterday by Chase. It was like you're out.
Like Mostert's a good player, and I can understand if people had forgotten, obviously, because he rarely makes it through a full season without injury. That's an issue, but it's an injury-prone game. That's not entirely on him. He's still, we also at least the rest of the nation does. You probably don't, but the rest of the nation sort of forgets about the fact that he's as a pure speed threat. He's like in the class of Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. Like the team speed that Miami has assembled is just almost unprecedented. It is pretty crazy. Like you guys got a 4x1, which is just not something that you normally see. Even at the NFL level. But the Tyreek injury is such a worry for me right now. And obviously Tua's situation is something that, that those two are the keys to the entire offense.
On the flip side, watching the Jets, Breece Hall, I mean, is he a number 1 or number 2 at this point?
Breece Hall's just a great player, just a phenomenal athlete. He was a fantastic college running back. So this isn't really a huge surprise. It's a little bit. I saw a number of people on Twitter getting a little bit annoyed at how much Michael Carter was still involved, but Michael Carter's a pretty good back. He's not. Yes. I don't think he's a Breece Hall level
dynamic
back.
As this guy. This guy's more dynamic than he is. That's the thing,
right? But he's good enough to play. And Breece Hall clearly has the number 1 role there, and that's it's all fine. You don't this isn't 1978, and nobody's going to be getting 35 touches a week until they break. That's just not how the game is played anymore. So I think that's perfectly fine committee. And Breece Hall is excellent.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Rashad Penny. How should people look at this situation now that he's out for the season?
Yeah, this is brutal news. Because in part because Penny, when he's healthy, which again, that's a rarity, but when he's been healthy, he's really had some fantastic moments and carried people to fantasy championships last year. Like that, that 6-game streak that he put together at the end of the season was, I mean, he can go straight to the Fantasy Hall of Fame for that. That was incredible. He carried a lot of people. This is a pretty simple and straightforward situation fantasy wise. Kenneth Walker is the ad. Kenneth Walker was a 1,600-yard back at Michigan State last year, over 6 yards per carry. He single-handedly beat Michigan, a pretty frisky defense, right? Like, he is a very good player. We saw him break off a 69-yard touchdown run, albeit, in a high scoring, no defense game with the Saints. But he only needed 8 touches in order to break off a long sort of potential game changing play. He's really good. And he just slides right into what Penny was doing. He is not a particularly gifted receiver, but we don't care very much about that in Seattle because they don't throw to their early down runner anyway. It's not like they were throwing Chris Carson. It's not like they were throwing a Penny. They never throw to those guys. So it was never a position that was going to see more than 20 receptions, 25 receptions. Walker is one of those few guys where, this happens a handful of times a year. You just want to empty the wallet in terms of your waiver budget. If you've got top waiver priority, even if you don't have a need at running back, you want to spend it on Kenneth Walker. He's a really good player who's stepping into a huge role for a team that wants to run the football.
Bills, bro, they put on some points, and the Steelers felt their pain. Khalil Shakir, they got a crap ton of receivers. What are we doing? I mean, now they're going.
Well, and the best thing about it is they've got Josh Allen throwing him the football. So Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs are just going to be every week guys. You're never going to not start those guys. I think that Shakir's situation is going to be complicated when Isaiah McKenzie comes back, because Isaiah McKenzie is a pretty good pro. Jamison Crowder lost for the year, has got the ankle issue, or at least lost for a long time. McKenzie, he's had a couple of games now in his NFL career where he's seen like 8, 9, 10 targets, and he has produced at a pretty high level in all of them. He was was basically having the season this year that I'd expected from Dawson Knox.
Sure.
Knox really hasn't made noise yet, and he was injured last week. It just doesn't seem to matter with Buffalo, though, because Allen is playing so well, and as long as Diggs is on the field, that combo together, so deadly. Shakir's a very good player. He had I don't know if it'll be classified as a drop this past week, but he did have what the eye test tells me was a drop. But found the end zone. It's Buffalo. They can put up 50 on anyone. So Shakir's one of those guys who I don't think is going to be anybody's waiver priority this week. I think among the wide receivers, that's probably going to be Jacoby Myers. It might be Rondale Moore. It might be Alec Pierce, handful of other guys. But I think Shakir is a guy that you can think of as somebody that I don't have to make a big bid for. I don't have to spend any fab dollars on him. I don't have to spend a high waiver claim. I can scoop him up. And if anything happens later in the season to any receiver on this team, Shakir is going to be a very popular ad.
I traded Kamara and Debo for Cooper Kupp and Najee Harris. I will be 1-4. Was I crazy?
No, it's not crazy. I think it's a fair deal. Kamara, I know how frustrated anybody with Kamara on a roster is right now, because I've got him on a handful of rosters, and it sure felt like, I don't know, at least 2 of those Taysom Hill touchdowns should have belonged to the Kamara manager. But Kamara had a good game. Like, I think overall you can look at that and you can be frustrated because Hill took all the touchdowns, but you can also look at it and say, wow, Kamara had 20, 25 plus touches coming off of injury. So that's a great sign. He had a huge yardage total. Touchdowns are eventually going to be there. It's not going to be like every week isn't going to be Taysom Hill week. There are going to be times where Alvin Kamara getting 20 plus touches a game is going to find the end zone once or twice. So I do like him overall, but I'm not going to argue with anybody going out and acquiring Cooper Kupp. He's coming off a historic season, and he's in the middle of potentially another historic season.
Should I drop Jonathan Taylor? Jesus Molano is asking.
No, we're not even close to that. I mean, Jonathan Taylor was like in the running, probably was never going to happen, but they were talking about him as if he might even make it back last Thursday to what ended up being an utterly dreadful game. But no, we're certainly not at that point.
All right, tonight we got an interesting one: Raiders and Kansas City. For daily fantasy leagues, for those kind of things, for guys that maybe are still making decisions, if they still have options here on Monday night. What do you like here in this game tonight?
What don't I like in this game, right? we like, I'm trying basically anything but the defenses we like here. I mean, we're not talking about defenses that are particularly stout. So I expect a huge total in this thing. If it goes north of 50, that's not going to surprise anyone.
I went over 52. That was my pick today. You like that, I guess.
I like it. Yeah. I mean, we just saw Kansas City put a huge number on a very good Tampa Bay defense that they just kind of shamed, right? Patrick Mahomes is playing incredibly well right now. The only thing I'd watch is Juju picked up like a late week practice injury, which is almost never a good sign. We expect him to play. I think he's probably going to be fine in this one, but that's a little bit of a concern. But really, Juju Smith-Schuster has been nothing more than a chain mover for the Chiefs so far. The other thing that should be interesting to watch is the backfield touch distribution for the Chiefs, because Clyde Edwards-Helaire is having this crazy season where he's finding the end zone absolutely every week. He's been like a top 5 fantasy running back. The guy barely plays. He only has one game this season where he's over 50% of the snaps. Like, he's been pretty steadily about 40% of the snaps, and Pacheco is out there, and Jerick McKinnon is out there. Like, they are rotating their running backs, and Edwards-Helaire is getting all the touchdowns. Part of me wants to say, well, that can't possibly last, but the other part of me is saying, hey, it's Kansas City. They're going to score 35 a game. Like, you want the running backs tied to this team. So it's not that I don't think, it's not that I see any reason to like necessarily trade CEH. We're just always on the lookout for more Isaiah Pacheco, because he's looked so good in small doses. He had a big role last week, and he put up numbers against a pretty good Bucs run defense. So I'm interested to see if we get more Pacheco as the season unfolds, because if he becomes a guy who's seeing 40% of the snaps alongside CEH, that's a guy we're going to be flexing.
Okay. Let me piggyback off of that. Rashad White, how should we be looking at that Tampa situation? Because Fournette's the guy, but Fournette also has an injury history at times too.
Yeah.
And you just kind of wonder about this season at times. And I know he got his money, but White all of a sudden is getting almost as many carries and as many opportunities. Is this more of a handcuff situation? Is he working his way to being a flex guy? How do we look at the Rashad White situation in Tampa?
I love that you ask about Rashad White, because I think he's, especially in a week like this, you know,
I'm a geek. I'm a geek.
I've certainly never accused you of not being a geek. We know that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really feel like White in this week in particular, right? The buys are kicking in. Kenneth Walker is going to be a hot ad. Eno Benjamin potentially going to be a hot ad because James Conner got injured. Rashad White is that guy that you can just scoop up for free, that nobody's going to be targeting, right? He's not going to be anyone's waiver priority. But this is 2 weeks in a row that we've seen Rashad White see the field a fair amount. He gained 42 scrimmage yards this past week, had a touchdown the week prior against Kansas City. Like, he's a good player. He was also among this year's rookie running backs. I thought he was the most gifted receiver. Like, he, in fact, like, we could even throw him in with the wide receiver pool, and I'd say that he was probably one of the 5 or 6 most talented receiving threats, because he made some of the most special highlight catches as a college player. I'm very interested in Rashad White. It's perfectly obvious that if something were to actually happen to Fournette, an injury hits Fournette, Rashad White is going to be a must-add player that we're all just like, okay, empty the wallet for that guy too.
Like, I look at Rashad White like the crypto market, right? We're in a downturn right now. We're in crypto winter, right? This is when you want to load up on your H bar and you want to get more Cardano and you want to get a little more Avalanche. You don't want to do it 6-9 months from now when they start exploding. Oh, should I buy now? No, you got to get it before it explodes. So
yeah, by the time Elon Musk is tweeting about Rashad White, it's too late, right?
Exactly. That's my point. And so then everybody, White. Like, what's that? What's the other kid now that is dominating? Damn it, the running back.
Dameon Pierce?
Pierce, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, everybody already is on that bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that maybe this guy turns into something, maybe he doesn't, but it's something you definitely have to watch out for.
Listen, Rashad White is an obviously very talented player. Like, he's a fun player. And if he steps into a role where he's all of a sudden going to get, 18 to 20 touches, well, now he's an excellent receiving back tied to Tom Brady in an offense that can put up numbers in any given week against any given opponent. So he's going to be somebody that we're just going to again, if he takes over a full featured role, he's just going to be a top 12 fantasy running back, period, moving forward. So that's a guy you can get, if not for free right now. There's not going to be a bidding war for Rashad White, right? Like, the bidding war is going to be on Walker. It's going to be on Benjamin, a handful of other guys. White's just going to be sitting out there. He's widely available in Yahoo leagues right now. Needs to get scooped up.
Yep. One more thing. Somebody's asking, should we be concerned about Kittle at the tight end position?
Yeah, because he's their left tackle. Like, you should. I mean, the problem with George Kittle, it's not a real life problem. He's just a great football player in multiple respects, right? He's so good a blocker that for them to execute everything that they want to do, like George, and he loves it. He absolutely loves pancake.
Like Gronk. Gronk was the same way. Gronk could block the crap out of you, and I saw Gronk throw defensive ends to the ground.
Yeah, Kittle's got that in him, and they're like his favorite plays. Like, that's his favorite thing to do. So Kittle isn't gonna like grouse about it if you ask him to block all game. He'll be like, hell yeah, I get to block all game. So it's a huge concern. The other huge concern there is obviously Garoppolo at quarterback. Like, Garoppolo just gives you the same week consistently. It's like 220 and 1 touchdown. He might throw 2 touchdowns, but he didn't have more than 2 touchdowns in any game last season. Doesn't have it yet this year. You're just never going to get a big week.
Why? Can I tell you why?
Oh, yeah.
Shanahan does not trust him to throw 35 times in a game.
I wouldn't trust him either. He already, like,
Exactly, because he'll get you in trouble. So
the position is really hard to play, but you already lost a Super Bowl because of Jimmy Garoppolo, because Jimmy couldn't make enough plays, right? So, like, I get it. He's just the guy at the controls right now, and he's got a very low ceiling.
Right. Manage it. That's all I want you to do, Jimmy. I don't need you to try to win it. Just get the ball to the playmakers. Let Debo and the boys make the plays. And so I think that's what it is. It takes away from your offense because there's not that trust factor, unfortunately. Yep. When you trust your guy, you'll let him sling it all over the damn place, and you don't care, dude. But you can tell that, the governor is on. You're driving. Basically, for you Niners fans out there, your offense is a U-Haul truck. It's got a governor. You can't go past 65, 70. So no matter what you want to do as you're going across the country, you want to get there faster. You can't do it, baby. The governor's not letting you.
You've got your foot to the floor, and nothing's happening. Yep.
How do you like that analogy? There's a governor on the Niners.
I may steal that.
Right. You can use it all you want. All right, Andy Behrens, tell him about Yahoo Sports and what you're doing all week long for fantasy players.
Yeah, thanks, Big O. We've got the Yahoo Fantasy Football Forecast. It is our podcast that is 5 days a week. Please check that out. We're going to be discussing all the waiver priorities today for release tomorrow, and then check out Fantasy Football Live an hour before kickoff on Sundays.
And follow him on Twitter as you see it there at Andy Behrens. Andy, we'll catch you next week, my friend. Hope all the big wins are yours this week.
Thanks, brother. Good luck to everybody.
You got it. There you go. And when you talk about Sports Grill, baby, they got all kinds of specials going on all season long during the NFL and NCAA season. $1.50 Bud Light drafts and bottles. How about that, baby? New cocktails, $5 during NCAA and NFL games. The cherry lemonade, the tailgate tea, and $12 domestic pitchers. By the way, my wife loved the cherry lemonade. We tried it last week. Okay, we were over there, and she wanted to try the cherry lemonade, and she enjoyed it. Bone-in wings are now 15% off. Buttermilk chicken sandwiches, they added that to the menu. The buffalo tater tots are absolutely delicious. And the sauces. Sports Grill is known for their sauces. The buffalo sauce, the Miami Heat, the blackberry, the barbecue, the Dali. They've got all those sauces, and you can take them home with you now. And the Doral location is coming soon. And today is Monday, $7 single smash burger. Smash it at 7 great locations. That is Andy Behrens and our Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone.
You've been listening to the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Andy Behrens. Go to sportsgrill.com to find a great location near you. Fantasy football fans, subscribe to the Big O Radio Show on YouTube and all other platforms to catch up with all our fantasy football insight provided by Scott Pianowski and Andy Behrens.
Right. Let's see. We got this long text from my buddy Tommy Anthony from Santana. I gotta reach back to him. He's such a good dude. I haven't been to a Santana concert in a little bit. I gotta go see Tommy in Santana. Need to go do that. That's always good. It's always good to see a little Santana action. Fridays, me and the wife like to have some fun. Like when we sit back and relax a little bit, I like jamming like a little Santana open up Friday nights on YouTube. So I go to the YouTube channel and I'll play a couple of I usually play Hold On. She loves that song. Santana hates to play that song, by the way. He played that song one time at the Sunrise Musical Theater for that tour and never played that song again. Yep. He hates playing Hold On and Winning, I'm told. Not a fan of playing those songs. I think it was something like kind of popish, but the record companies, when he did the Z-Bop and Shango albums, Z-Bop has Winning, Shango has Hold On. When he completed the albums, they were like, well, we need something that's a little bit more radio play. And so those songs were added to those albums. And I think that's why he's kind of down on those. And you never hear them live. And they're both amazing songs. I mean, I love practically anything that Santana's ever put out, but Winning and Hold On are great, great songs. And the solos and everything are really cool with them. And he's not a fan of playing those songs. You'll never hear them live. You'll never see those two songs live, Winning and Hold On. What a shame. Let's see. Should I replace Gesicki as my tight end? Yeah, Double T Sports. Of course, my brother, you should. There's you know, what are your options is the question you have to ask me. What is available in your league and those kind of things. Send it to my email at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com and I'll answer it there. Or wait till Scott Pianowski comes on Friday if you want. Remember, Fridays and Mondays at noon, we have our Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone. Okay? John says, we know Skylar shouldn't be our star. Well, John, they say that now, but there were a lot of people that wanted him as a starter. But the question should be, is he our backup over Teddy? If Teddy takes us nowhere, let's at least go nowhere and know that what Skylar can do. Now, that's how I feel. Well, John, we got to get, if Teddy comes back this week, see what he does as a backup. And if he can move the offense, which he did when he came in, he did all right. He wasn't great, but he wasn't terrible either when he came in filling in for Tua. But let's see what he does this week, because I'm pretty sure that Teddy's going to play this week against Minnesota and they'll hold out. At least that's what I've thought from the get-go, that they're going to hold him out till the Pittsburgh game. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But before we say all of that, let's give Teddy a chance here. And the stupid rule got in the way. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Maria by... Oh, I love Maria by Santana. Yes. Yes, definitely. I'm a huge Santana fan, brother. I love practically every song he's ever made. I've got his entire catalog, and I can just jam to Santana music constantly. I've seen him so many times in concerts. I think maybe at least 20 times I've seen Santana over the years. Can't see him enough. So much fun. Oh, pick your celebrity Jeopardy loser. Number 1, Antonio Brown. Number 2, Herschel Walker. Number 3, semi-truck rollerblader. Well, Antonio Brown almost killed a child by throwing a piece of furniture on his head from a 14th floor story. So I'm going to go with Antonio Brown because he's just a scumbag. Herschel Walker's another scumbag. The kids are stupid. Kids do stupid things. But Antonio Brown's like a first-class scumbag. He's just a loser. And Herschel Walker's another loser. And Kanye West is another loser, by the way. I hope this is the final straw in his career. Okay? Attacking our Jewish community was disgusting. Spreading hate like that and trying to cause divide, and man, we can't be about that kind of stuff, dude. We can't be about that, man. Just because whatever different religion or sexual orientation or color or nationality or whatever, we're all one family. Whether you like to admit it or not, we're all one big ass family. And we need to be a hell of a lot more inclusive and accept people for who they are. They might be different than you, man. So what? That doesn't mean that they're wrong. That doesn't mean that, they shouldn't be accepted in your world, because we're all God's children. All of us. Doesn't matter what color you are, what religion, what sexual orientation you are, nothing, man. So I'll put Kanye number 1 for spreading hate and going after our Jewish friends. Because that was just, for those of you that don't know, He got banned from Twitter and Instagram, and I think I've got the story here about Kanye. And I would hope that, my Jewish brothers and sisters out there, young ones, I would imagine, because probably my old Jewish brothers and sisters are probably not listening to Kanye. But I do hope that our younger generation that has supported that scumbag, I hope you don't support the scumbag anymore. And I hope you dump his ass like a bad habit, because that's what Kanye West deserves. Kanye has been banned from Twitter and Instagram, locked out for anti-Semitic posts. Spokesperson for Twitter and Instagram parent company Meta said Sunday his posts violated their policies in a tweet sent late Saturday. He said he would go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. According to the Internet Archive records, making apparent reference to the U.S. military's readiness condition scale known as DEFCON. You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda in the same tweet, which was removed, by the way, by Twitter. So the comment drew sharp, of course, rebuke from the Anti-Defamation League, which called the tweet deeply troubling, dangerous, and anti-Semitic, period. There is no excuse for his propaganding of white supremacist slogans and classic anti-Semitism about Jewish power, especially with the platform he has. So I know he's crazy. I get it. I get he's crazy. But, a piece of shit like that should not have that forum. So take it away from him. That's all. And he will go by the way of Roger Waters and Mel Gibson for me now. Not that I really was listening to Kanye now, but I will treat him like Mel Gibson. I will treat him like Roger Waters. Okay? Two people that I do not support whatsoever, because they are disgusting anti-Semites also. Well, Roger Waters' problems run much deeper than just anti-Semite. But if that's the road you want to go, that's not the road I'm going to go. So there you go. I just hope that we're too forgiving in this society. Okay? That's one of our many, 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 many problems. And because we're so forgiving, people will continue to try to get away with everything. And we got to stop being as forgiving. Okay? People like this need to be held accountable. People like Brett Favre, who were stealing from the poor, need to be held accountable. And they should not be given any breaks, any kind of understanding, any second chances, none of that. Messages need to be sent that there are ways to do things. And if you're stealing from the poor, you don't get a break. Sorry doesn't cut it. And if you're an anti-Semite or you're anti-LGBT or whatever, dude, anti-white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, you're anti any of that, this is the kind of stuff that we can't accept as a society. So there you go. Just to see, Dougie Fresh, you see what you did? You brought on a bunch of these a-holes, and it reminded me of an even bigger a-hole in Kanye West. What hit has Kanye had recently? I don't know. I don't care. I don't really care at all. I just hope he never has another hit again, and I hope people don't support that piece of crap. Emilio says, oh, my top Santana songs, Jingo, Black Magic Woman, Oye Como Va, Samba Pati, and Evil Ways. Well, one song that's in my top 5 that is not in anybody's top 5 pretty much is E Papare. Go back to the Z-Bop album. Go back to side B of that album or cassette or whatever the hell you have. If you have the CD, then whatever. And I guess it'll be halfway in because I believe E Papare is either the first or the second song on the B-side. And that is one of my favorite Santana songs. E Papare. So there you go. Oh, what is your favorite store back in the day? Specs or Peaches or Camelot? Peaches. Out of those three, I got to go Peaches is my favorite out of the three. Peaches used to have, man, I met Motley Crue at Peaches, dude, on Sunrise Boulevard. I skipped school at Hialeah High. I want to say we were juniors. I want to say it was like 84. It wasn't 83, right? Shout at the Devil. Maybe 83, 84. I'm not exactly sure now. I'm not sure if I was a sophomore or a junior now. Got to remember. Anyway, so Motley Crue was coming down and Shout at the Devil had exploded. And they were actually here a couple weeks prior. No, wait a minute. No, they were here for Shout at the Devil and they were opening up for Ozzy. Yes, they were opening up for Ozzy. Right. And then they came back after headlining and Quiet Riot was their opener. I think that's how it went. Somebody help me out with that. So long ago. And so I remember skipping school and going to that Peaches in Sunrise. And so that alone, even though Peaches on average was a much bigger record store than Specs, I always enjoyed going to Peaches. You know? That was pretty cool. I did get to experience going to Tower Records in Los Angeles right on Sunset years, whatever it was. I went with my wife, I don't know, a long, long time ago, 25 years ago, whatever, and it was still open. So I was able to experience that because that was always one record store I wanted to go to in Los Angeles, Tower. It was just so legendary, you know what I mean? So, yeah. And Dougie Fresh says, you are welcome. Oh, man. What do we have here? Where's Rambo when you need him? Finman's coming up with service merchandise. I had service merchandise literally across the street from me in Hialeah when I lived on 16th and 47th, I think it was, right? Yeah, for like 47th. I lived right across from the Heath Kit, which was right behind Gus Machado. And then across the street from that was the service merchandise. And of course, fat people, we remember food. We had a Bojangles right there also. Hialeah was the best. I don't know why, but Hialeah gets all the fast food places before everybody else. On 49th Street, which you could never find in Miami on one strip, they had Hardee's, they had Bojangles, they had Godfather's Pizza, and Taco Bell in the 80s. Take that, bitch. Okay? Take that, mofo. All right? I lived in Miami for a year. You couldn't find that anywhere. All my friends would come to my house to hang out, to go to Taco Bell. After concerts, we would go hang out to Hardee's till 2 a.m. I don't know what it was about Hialeah, but they always got stuff before. They got cable before most places in Dade County. Probably Broward, too. I don't know what they do in Hialeah, but, dude, they get access to everything before everybody else. We had fast food joints. We had Chuck E. Cheese before everybody else had it. Literally, es la ciudad que progresa. The city that progresses is what I just said in Spanish. And boy, it progressed ahead of everybody with all these. You could find, a Taco Bell somewhere else. No way you were going to find it next to a Hardee's, next to a Bojangles, next to a Godfather's Pizza. No effing way. No effing way. No. It's the weirdest thing, dude. Weirdest thing. And a Long John Silver's. That's right. It was right by the Palm Springs Mall, the Long John Silver's. They had everything, dude. Everything. They always get it before everybody else. 49th Street, and I guess, you know what, maybe it's because it's so populated, 49th Street, and overpopulated, that they probably said, this is a great test area for us. Maybe that's why they did it. But if there's one thing that we were blessed with, for those of us that lived in Hialeah back in the 80s, way ahead of the curve at polluting our arteries with all kinds of great fast food. PDC says, Big O, perspective. We were down our 2 starting tackles, 2 starting corners, first string, second string, QB, only most important positions in any team. Hard to win this way. Thanks for repeating what I've said in the postgame show and earlier on the show, and I agree with you 1,000%. I try to explain it to people, but you know. Even my boy Cam yesterday was just way too critical of the team. Way too critical of the team. And I guess some people tuned in yesterday expecting me to spit fire and piss and vinegar and all that stuff. And I was actually proud of the Dolphins yesterday. Yeah, I was proud of them. No tackles, no corners. Your defense can't play the way it normally wants without those corners. You don't have your starting quarterback. You don't have your backup quarterback. You're down to your third string guy. I know some of you all out there thought that Skylar could bail you out. That's your silliness, not mine. I felt terrible for the kid that they put him in that position. And they made it a game to the fourth quarter. Then the turnovers, the mistakes, and that's why they got the 21 points and they blew them out. But that was a game all the way through 3 quarters. I was really proud of the Dolphins considering they were shorthanded. If Miami has their corners, if Miami has one of those 2 corners and their tackles and Tua, they win by 20 points. Miami is better than the Jets, dude. McDaniel did it with smoke and mirrors for 3 quarters. And then the wheels fell off. And you know what happened? Reality set in. You're not supposed to hang with anybody when you're missing your 2 corners, your 2 tackles, and your starting quarterback. You're done, bro. And you're on your 3rd quarterback, not even your backup. And normally your backup ain't going to save you jack. I was proud of the Dolphins yesterday. I'm in the minority. I know. I get it. But I was proud of the Dolphins yesterday. How do you like them apples? Go ahead. Call me a jerk. Call me an idiot. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I make no sense. Tell me I'm a homer because that's what happens. Oh, you're a blind-ass fan. How can you be happy or proud? Not happy. How can you be proud?
Blind-ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind-ass fan coming through.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Go ahead. Go ahead. Juice F5, thank you for the love on the super chat. Oh, favorite Hialeah strip club. Porky's, Pussycat, Stonewall, or Treasure Island. Dude, you're hardcore. I've never even heard of Stonewall. T.I., Pink Pussycat, or Pussycat, whatever, and Porky's, I know those. Where the hell was Stonewall? What's the name of the one that is right on Okeechobee that's really small, and it's right before the train tracks? You know what I'm talking about? You're heading west on Okeechobee, and you pass Red Road and the Chesapeake or whatever, and you're headed towards the next light, right, that takes you into Miami Springs, or Medley, I'm sorry. But before you get to it, there's like a little strip club that's been there forever. What's the name of that one? Because that's been in Hialeah forever, dude. That is Stonewall? That one's called Stonewall? That is Stonewall? Oh, wow. Jesus. I mean, I always laugh at those strip clubs Don't you like trip out? A strip club that's about this size. What does it have? Like 2 chicks without teeth and one's pregnant? I just, seriously. How does the floor, the DJ, and the bathroom all fit in one? Do they even have a champagne room, or do they have a champagne booth? I've always wondered about it. You drive by it. That's a strip club? It's 1,000 square foot. How can be? I've stayed in hotel rooms bigger than that. I've had cabins on ships bigger than this, and that's a strip club. So I just wonder about, is there an underground floor? Is that what it is? Did they build it down? Candy going down. Down to dance floor number 3. I'm gonna go my favorite strip club. I'm gonna go with the Follies. Ha! 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 You know why I gotta go with the Follies? That's the first time I saw a naked woman dancing. The Follies. And you're at Juice F5, you're going, huh? The Follies was down Okeechobee, right before the Palmetto. You know where the Arby's and the Walmart and the McDonald's, and notice how fat people we food, right? So when that didn't exist, there used to be a strip club there called the Follies. It's kind of like a burlesque type of whatever. So yeah. So I'm going to go with the Follies and Fanny Annie. How about that? There's some guys out there going, oh my God, pulled out the Follies and Fanny Annie. That's it. It's over. It's done. Atrasana Dance Club. Okay. You guys are just making it rain all over South Florida. I don't know about this. By the way, I was like 9 or 10 years old when I snuck in there, and back in those days, the door was just open. There was no security guard. There's no bouncer, nothing like that. You walked in, oh crap, nobody's in the front. You walk in, nobody's telling you anything. You keep walking in. You know, wow, naked woman. Hey, kid, get out of here. Not to brag, but every room becomes a strip club when I walk in. There you go, Pat in Asheville. I like it. We would get in there and wouldn't get carded or anything, says Alex. Oh, you're talking about, is that the Stonewall place you guys are talking about? You guys are nasty, bro. You guys are nasty. All right. Tua back this week? I don't think so. I think it'll be next week. I think he could have played yesterday. Okay? I think he's one of those kind of guys that recovers quickly from this kind of stuff. But the optics, so they'll wait till next week. That's my guess. All right, let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend. We are ready with our EJD Construction.com Miami Dolphins report with Alan Poopart.
Dolphins fans, time to get insight on your favorite team with your favorite reporter with an Expos hat. Sports Illustrated's Alan Poopart in our EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on a Big O radio show.
All righty, there he is. The Spos hat is on. I think it's starting to wear down a little bit here. We might need to freshen that up.
No, I have a second one, actually. This is the first one. I bought a second one.
It looks like a first one.
You never forget your first one.
No,
and then if I need to get a third one and a fourth one, I will.
Okay. Yes. You definitely need a fresher one, that's for sure. Because that one, but although you know what? There's something to be said about the hats that have been worn in. Those are actually,
character.
Yeah, no, and comfortable too. When you slip it on, it's all the grooves are there, bro. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's great, especially if you have a Klingon head. It takes a while for it to adjust, and so once it does adjust, you don't really want to switch over if you're a Klingon. So that's going to be a challenge. Yesterday, I got to say, I was proud of them, bro, overall. You're there without your starting corners, your starting tackles, you're on your third quarterback. It was a game for 3 quarters, bro. And finally, the mistakes caught up with a young quarterback that, come on, bro, he wasn't ready for this. I kind of felt bad that he was thrown to the wolves like this. At least he got some experience, but I didn't walk away so bitter like some people out there. I kind of understood, Alan, the 5 most important positions in football: quarterback, left tackle, pass rusher, number 1 wide receiver, and shutdown corner. Mm-hmm. You're missing 3 of those and double on each of them in 2 tackles and 2 corners. And I'm sorry, man. I thought McDaniel and company were magicians for 3 quarters to make it a game. So I don't know how you looked at it. Like Cam yesterday was, I thought, overly critical of the team. So I'm wondering how you viewed what happened yesterday.
Well, I view yesterday as the margin for error greatly diminished when you got your rookie 7th-round pick thrown into the game after the first play. That's number 1. Number 2, having said that, to me, the 2 biggest missed opportunities for the Dolphins to take the lead in the second half, and who knows where the game goes from there, were not on Skylar Thompson in the least. One of them, if you recall, after the Dolphins got the 4th down stop, they had the ball at the 45-yard line. Mostert runs for 5, so it's 2nd and 5. And then the offensive line can't hold off the pass rush on 2nd down where Thompson is pressured and has to throw it. And then on 3rd down, he gets sacked because Eichenberg is too slow to pick up a twist up front. And then in the second one, the one before the Jason Sanders missed field goal, well, Tanner Connor, who the Dolphins like, sorry, son, but you got to catch that pass. And
right. Yeah.
Huge. That's a first down at the 30-yard line of the Jets. And who knows where that drive goes from there. And so to me, Skylar's numbers were not good. There were times when
he wasn't bad, bro. He was fine, bro. Come on. For a young guy.
Let me finish my point. I said the numbers weren't good. There were times he was holding the ball too long. But let's not forget he had 3 drop passes, 2 by Chase Edmonds, which got his ass benched, the 1 by Connor, and the pick. By the way, his arm was hit when he was throwing to River Craycraft, which is why the ball floated and Sauce Gardner was able to make the play on it. So, no, I don't think Skylar was bad at all. For a guy thrown in the way he was thrown in, actually handled himself pretty well, especially with an offensive line that's pretty leaky once you take Armstead out of the equation.
Yeah, no, he was fine, dude. I God bless him, bro. He did a good job considering what he is at this point and thrown to the wolves. I mean, think about it. The game starts, 2nd play, you're in. Huh? What?
Yeah.
Holy, nobody expects that. So, but overall as a team, I thought it was a pretty good job to make it a game for 3 quarters. Even when you fell behind, you fought back to make it a game too, on top of all of that. Overall, I thought, considering everything, I thought they did all right, dude. I can't complain.
No, I thought they did all right too. And again, anybody who looks at the final score 40-17 and thinks they got blown out, it's just ridiculous. They didn't get blown out. And in the game, for example, against Buffalo, was a game they easily could have lost. They made the plays. In the game against the Jets yesterday, they didn't make the plays. And it's funny too, because if you look at the defense, what hurt them was Breece Hall running. It wasn't the fact that X wasn't there. The guys in his place held their own, and the one really bad play by the pass defense was nasty busted coverage, and it looked like it may have been Eric Rowe who was the one who was responsible for Hall coming out of the backfield. It wasn't one of the corners. So that wasn't a difference in the game. It was just mistakes. And again, because of their lineup limitations, because of all the injuries, their margin for error wasn't as big as it normally would have been.
Yep. I'm with you there, man. I did not walk away from this. If you can now, after the game, the Teron Armstead thing is disturbing. The fact that he stayed in New York, that's not good. I don't know how serious it is. Sad part is this acquisition is trending in a really bad direction, unfortunately. You can't be happy that he can't practice because that doesn't help your team. It doesn't help the line. It doesn't help Eichenberg either. It would help him to have him there in practice every day. And then now he's not really available for all the games either. And so I wonder how long he's going to be out, because to me, that's a major concern now, because even with the toe injury, he's still way better than anything that you have or can get. So it's a concern. I'd like to have him even at 80%, because at 80%, he's still better. But, man, this is just not a good situation. Do we know anything whatsoever?
No, we're speaking to McDaniel later this afternoon. I'm not thinking they're going to have anything just yet. And the part that's troubling too is he's played with a toe injury 3 straight games. So for him to pull himself out of the game, and if you saw the replay, he aggravated the injury on the play where he got called for holding, and he looked at the sideline and was like,
right.
So yeah, no, that's very troubling. And sadly, that's the risk you were taking when you signed the guy, because as good a player as he is, that's his
always
injury.
Been. Yep. Always been. All right. What do you, because he didn't suffer a concussion. And by the way, this new rule is complete bullshit, because now you're going to cost the team a game, a playoff position, something, because Teddy didn't suffer a concussion yesterday. So why the hell are you holding him out? Correct. If he's not concussed, now you're getting to a point where it's ridiculous. This is a tough man's sport, dude. That's just the way it is. They know it. They signed up for this. But I just think now this rule is, you're so worried about the optics now that you're now going to start hurting the game and hurting teams and hurting players.
Bingo. And the thing that's completely weird too is this comes as a result of their investigation, which concludes that despite the optics, Tua they could not determine that he had a concussion. Okay, so but then they add that ultimately the results were not what we would hope for. Well, but why isn't it if you determine he didn't have a concussion? So yeah, to me, it's an overreaction because of the optics. And then you saw that it not only affected the Dolphin game, you saw that tackle of Tom Brady, which was similar to the tackle that knocked out Tua against Cincinnati, and also because of
now it's a penalty. Now it's a penalty.
Also, you're dealing with Tom Brady, who is invariably going to get the benefit of the doubt. And I know somebody from Tampa put out numbers that he's not getting as many calls for him once he moved to Tampa. Well, let's go back to his career in Tampa Bay, where he basically was the protected child. I mean, or maybe I'm saying that because I cover the Dolphins and I'm annoyed by him getting all the calls, but that was completely egregious and part of it to me. In fact, when the pool reporters were asking Jerome Boger, the referee, about the play and why he threw the flag, and then when the question was it was there more awareness because of what happened to Tua.
No, but they said now it's because he stepped on his hand. But you called it roughing the passer. You didn't call it unsportsmanlike conduct, because that's what you would when Ndamukong Suh stepped on. Was it Aaron Rodgers' leg, ankle, or whatever it was? When he stepped on it, it was an unsportsmanlike call. Mm-hmm. So the referees now say that the call on Brady wasn't because of the tackle; it's because he stepped on his hand. That's
not what the pool report said yesterday. No,
yeah,
they go. I saw the pool report yesterday. He said because he threw him quote unquote. I think it was something like he unnecessarily or violently threw him to the ground or whatever. In other words, he tackled him.
Sean, pull it up now.
On the Sunday Night Football, they stated that it was because of the step on afterwards, not the tackle. I'll try to find it right now.
Well, look for the pool report also with Jerome Boger. He literally did this.
But that's what I'm saying. They might have changed that now. Is the
so you're going to tell me? Are you going to tell me that 3 hours after the game, Jerome Boger's explanation of he tackled him too hard now becomes he stepped on his hand? Oh, by the way, and look at the replay also, and then notice Mr. Brady kicking toward Grady Jarrett after he was sacked.
Right.
And tell me that didn't look intentional. And of course, there's no flag there. I mean,
no flag, of course. Yeah.
It's egregious, infuriating to no end to anybody who cares about football in the NFL.
No, but I want to see them pull Brady. I want to see them pull Mahomes now in a game. I want to see them ruin somebody's game now, because that's what's going to end up happening, right? And listen,
But the danger now, because that's a discretion of the spotter. So it's a spotter yesterday, and I'd still love to see a replay where I see any sign of Teddy wobbling or anything like that, because I sure as hell didn't see
There
it.
was none. There was
So
none.
it's basically at the discretion of a spotter upstairs. And to me, any decision that's made by one guy that can eliminate a player from a game, that's not a good way of doing things.
No, and you might want to headhunt a little bit. You may want to if you're you might be a dirty coach, and you might send somebody to go after a guy. And yeah, dude, if you get penalized or whatever, we don't care. But if you make him wobble a little bit, they'll take him out of the game, and that's it. So stuff like that could end up happening now because all of this. And I'm sorry, dude, but there are sports. We've talked about this. We had this whole conversation last week. I mean, you're pummeling a guy in the face in the UFC round after round, and when you're giving him a standing 8 count, you don't think there's a freaking concussion going on at the same time? When his eyes are spinning out? How many times have we seen a boxer or an MMA guy or woman, and they're kind of dazed and confused, but then they got the break for a minute there, and then they come out and they win the fight after that. They come back. You know what I'm saying? And Tua in that game against Buffalo, say whatever you want. The guy didn't play in the second half like anything was affecting him. He was playing lights out, and he even threw the kill shot. And on Thursday, he was playing just fine also. Yep. Nothing. It didn't look like he got affected by anything. So, all right, so what happens this week? Because Teddy wasn't concussed. So does he come back? Do they hurry Tua back? Because I still think it'll be the Pittsburgh game. But after yesterday, I'm like, I wonder if they'll say, hey, Tua, you feeling good? Yeah, I'm feeling good. And he passed all the tests. And they're like, well, he's passed all the tests. We got to get him back. I don't know. What do you think happens?
But when you're dealing with a concussion, which we clearly can acknowledge Tua had in Cincinnati,
for sure,
you're going to be very cautious, and you're going to err on the side of caution. This idea of like, we really need him, we're gonna wink rush him back. That I don't buy that for a second. And Bridgewater having not shown any symptoms and passed all the concussion tests yesterday suggests to me that there's a very, very high likelihood he'll be on the field against the Vikings on Sunday.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you'll get to write the Teddy Two Gloves facing his former team stories, all the feel good stories. How does Teddy make you feel now as you keep watching him? Right, it just,
dude, he had one play.
I know, but
I feel about Teddy exactly the same way I felt coming into the game, that he would have been just fine, and the offense would have done what it did in the first 4 games of the season or close to it. And unfortunately, and this is, I don't know, because I kind of wrote a little bit about Saleh and McDaniel knowing each other so well. Maybe Saleh knows that McDaniel loves to play fake and naked bootleg. And lo and behold, on the first play of the game, that's what the Dolphins call. And that so happens the Jets are calling a cornerback blitz. And Gardner got a free line straight at Teddy and basically plays blown up before it even starts.
I'm not blaming him for the game or the play itself. That has nothing. Hell, it's not even his fault that he was out of the game. That's a stupid rules from the NFL. He should have returned and played at the rest of that game. It's just I still wonder about him running the offense on a long-term basis. I'm definitely out, but hopefully on a week like this against his former team,
zero concerns from here.
Yeah, that I'm hoping he can do a serviceable job against Minnesota. He should be super inspired to play again. Is this the first time he faces them, or did he face them in New Orleans, or I don't think anywhere else he played,
or Denver or Carolina? I haven't checked. I don't know. I haven't checked, to be honest with you.
Okay, that's interesting. I wonder if he was, because he wasn't in their division again, but maybe in the other stops they played obviously against Minnesota one way or another, and he ended up playing against Minnesota. I don't know.
I can tell you. Hold on. I can tell you. Maybe a crossover. I'm not sure. Sorry. I'll leave it at that. Not sure.
Yeah. All right. What do you think happens with Tua today? Because I think McDaniel will make. Here's the prediction I want.
Go ahead.
Will McDaniel say he's out for the week right from the get-go? Will McDaniel say, well, Tua's looked great, he's passed all the tests, we're going to see throughout the week, and he uses it as bait for Minnesota to prepare, or he says we'll see throughout the week, but he really is never really going to play him. Which one is it?
My best guess, and again, going by what we're told and what we've heard, is Tua's doing well, but he's seeing, and McDaniel told us Friday that he's seeing specialists, which might suggest that it's not, that his return at that time was not imminent. My best guess is he does not rule him out today, but certainly doesn't say conclusively that he's going to play on Sunday. That we'll have to see how the week progresses. That's my bet. And again, it's just a guess. And I want to reiterate that when we're dealing with a head injury, those things can go back and forth very quickly. So that's why I never make predictions when it comes to concussions. The only reason I'm saying that I expect Teddy to play is because he didn't have a concussion.
Right. Exactly. No, I'm with you there. I think the same thing. I think Teddy plays this week. I think Tua returns next week against Pittsburgh. All right. One thing I can pick on, okay, because I can only expect for you to do so much without your tackles or without your corners. I think it just change, and without your number one quarterback, I think it changes the face of a lot of things that you do. But something that's been a consistent problem the entire year so far, and again yesterday, pass rush, bro. Pass rush. These guys are not getting to the quarterback. They can't get there with their base ever. They've always got a blitz. And when you start seeing the guys that are getting sacks are not your defensive ends, you know, now it's your linebackers, your safeties, that kind of stuff. It bothers me. It bothers me that we have not seen Ogba take off. Jalen Phillips, I know he's young, so there's going to be ups and downs, but he's got to do it. So does Wilkins. So does Raekwon Davis. All these guys, Sealer, Van Ginkel. They got to get better at getting after the damn quarterback, dude.
Yeah, but if you look at like the guys like Sealer, Wilkins, Davis, and all that, they're not pass rushers. That's not their MO.
No, I know, but they've got to contribute at least. They've got to contribute
every once in a while. But the guys you're really counting on, and Ogba and Phillips, for example. And the thing with Jalen is, I think a lot of people got fooled last year because he got 8.5 sacks. And number one, they came in bunches. And number two, and I say this with all the love in the world for Phillips, who's a great kid and who's a really, really good athlete, but a lot of his sacks were cleanup sacks last year. And a lot of those came because Ogba was a handful for anybody
right
to pass protect against last year. That's not there this year. And then you combine that with the fact that they're not doing the all-out blitzing as much as they did last year, and part of it has to be because they don't have the corners they had last year. Well, that's a bad combination. But you're right. It's not getting there, and they're not affecting the quarterback. Forget about sacks. They're not hurrying quarterbacks into picks, which they were very good at doing. You're looking at one interception the entire season, which is not good, which is what, this team thrived on last year. And not only one interception in the first game of the season, it was the first drive of the season with the Holland pick in the end zone against Mac Jones. That's it. They've had a couple of those sack strips with Brandon Jones and Javon Holland, but that's not, and they're giving up yards. They have been good situationally a lot of times so far this season, third and short, fourth and short.
Bending and not breaking, right?
Correct. But they give up a lot of yardage, and they don't have that element of taking the ball away like they had the last 2 years.
I'm with you there. All right. What do we know about Austin Jackson?
Eligible to return from IR this week. And where once I thought that maybe there's a question about him getting his starting job back, Greg Little's play has slipped the past couple of weeks, and that's being very kind.
But the bad part is Greg Little will stay in the lineup because they're going to move him over to the other side.
I'd be tempted to think they'd start Brandon Shell over him, but that's just me.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's my guess.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. If that's the case. Did they screw up continuing to play Tyreek Hill? Because when I look at somebody developing a second growing injury, that tells me that you were overcompensating for the other one. So how do you look at this Tyreek situation? Because a growing injury, because you end up with groins, that's kind of That's kind of a scary injury right now, and that's something that can linger. So should they have held him back a little bit?
Okay, well, unless you know something I don't, his first injury was a quad, and he played through it. Looked pretty fast to me. And then
I thought it was Waddle with the quad.
Waddle was a groin. Hill was a quad. And then he got stepped on late in the game, which is why he was in a walking boot after the game. And Drew Rosenhaus told Josh Moser of Channel 7 for his weekly segment that he's fine as far as the foot's concerned. So, no, not overly concerned there. And
so I'm dreaming.
Xavier Howard's got the double groin.
Correct.
Yeah. I didn't say Howard. What did I say?
You said Tyreek
Hill.
Oh, I'm sorry. Howard, bro. Did
they didn't play. He didn't play, so they didn't screw up.
No.
Oh, you mean did they start playing him against Cincinnati?
Yes, that's my point. Yes. I'm sorry. It's not Tyreek Howard. Did they screw up continuing him to play? Because when you go from one groin to grow-ins, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, bro. Yeah. That's scary because I've seen that stuff linger for the entire season. That and hamstrings are really scary.
No. Yeah, correct. But right now, the only problem with that is we're playing results right now. So, and
that's what we do for a living.
Yeah, but I'm sure they were monitoring his progress. They were talking to him on a consistent basis. I'm sure they asked him before Cincinnati, can you go, and all that. And if you're looking to win the game against Cincinnati and you're looking at T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Boyd,
I get it.
And you're thinking, well, X is telling us he can go. Kind of tough to say, no, go ahead and said, we'll hold you down. I don't know. That's tough.
I just hope they didn't ruin him for a while. Two growing.
Right now they can't catch a break with injuries. It's like, I mean, every single thing they do goes wrong. You know?
Dude, they have so many issues. The one good thing out of all this bad is the appreciation level for Tua Tagovailoa skyrocketed, baby.
Is that a question or a statement?
Well, I know it's the truth. I'm just asking you now.
Okay.
And
they beat the Jets with Bridgewater's in the game, so no. And they could have beaten the Bengals as well. So,
well, they would have crushed the Bengals and the Jets with Tua.
We'll never know.
What do you got going on alldolphins.com?
I'll be with you on that one when Teddy plays one or two full games uninjured and completely flops. Then absolutely I'll be on board with you. I'm of the opinion that you will see very little difference in offensive production if Teddy goes through the game uninjured. Obviously, having the same guys that were there early in the season when the Dolphins were producing.
I've never seen Teddy play like Tua played the first couple of weeks ever in his career. He don't play like that. So, but whatever. He's had moments, but he don't play like that. But okay. we shall see what we shall see.
Absolutely.
And Dolphin fans, make sure you bookmark alldolphins.com. It is a must. He'll be back later on in the week to preview the Dolphins and the stinking Vikings.
4-1 Vikings.
Thank you, sir. Huh?
4-1 Vikings.
Yeah,
4-1 Vikings.
I know. Hopefully 4-2.
When
it's all said and done. All right, Alan. We shall catch on later in the week, my friend. Thank you.
You be good.
There you go. EJD Construction.com, Miami Dolphins. Repo.
You've been listening to the EJD Construction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poopart. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDConstruction.com is your custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
All right. You know, when sports and business collide, we like doing something that is called the KSDT Sports Business Report. All right. So Major League Baseball, the attendance is still down from 2022 from its pre-pandemic levels. A total of 64,556,678 people attended Major League Baseball games in 2022. The per game average of 26,843. The league showed marked improvement from 2021, which was 18,901, but that's pandemic stuff. Before the pandemic started in 2019, down 5.7%. That's a huge drop from 28,339 to 26,843. All right. And of course, their revenue did go up. Okay. It wasn't all bad. Their league, the league is expected to top the 2019 $10.7 billion revenue, which they did. But that's because they're charging more for a lesser product. You know, it's funny because, like in movies, they tell you, oh, this movie grossed this much. Well, yeah, of course, dude, you're charging $12 a movie. You can't compare it to Jaws because they charged $2 a movie. It's a hell of a difference. So, of course, you're going to generate more revenue, dude. What you should do is tell me how many people went to see Jaws compared to how many people went to see Star Wars and then Avatar and this and that. How many people, bodies walked in to see it? Don't give me the total numbers. Of course, the total numbers are going to go up. You're charging more. Doesn't really mean that you're more successful. So baseball, you know, again, stats can be spun however you want. And they'll tell you, oh, we sold more gear than we ever have. And we said, well, you know, because you didn't sell more jerseys, bro. You sold more in money because you're charging more. Okay? Because the guy that bought a Yankee jersey in 2000 paid probably $75. And now the guy that's buying the same Yankee jersey is paying $325. Huge difference. So, but again, they spin it, but they spin it to be convenient. They don't spin the stats to be accurate. Because maybe a movie is grossing so much, but maybe several other movies, way more people actually attended the movie to go see it. You are just charging more. You're charging now for a movie that, you know, people went for 20% of what you paid to go see a movie back in the day. So now you're charging enough for 5 tickets from back in the day. Doesn't mean 5 people attended, only 1 attended for every 5 of the other one. So really, the numbers are just fudged. And that's what's going on in baseball. The one that counts is the attendance. That's the one that counts. The butts in seats is what counts. Not the revenue. Don't give me this bullshit. Give me the people that actually showed up. Give me the people that walked through the turnstiles. What's that exact number compared to the other one? Don't tell me that Avatar produced this much money. Who knows? Maybe Close Encounters of the Third Kind had way more people go attend and see it than Avatar. You know? So, just interesting how they like to fudge the numbers. And bad news for Major League Baseball because the one trend that continues, and look, any seam head that argues with you, it's because they're a seam head and they can't admit what's going on with their own sport. But I see it, man. I do talk shows every day. I've been doing it for 33 years now. We're closing in on doing talk shows. I get the pulse of people all the time. Less and less people care about baseball. It's a dying sport. None of it is growing. They can BS all they want about how much revenue they produced or how much somebody's paying for the rights fees or something. Yeah, you're charging more, but it's a lesser product. less people are going, less people are interested, less people even care that baseball exists. The Marlins could leave this town and so few people would complain. Nobody cares. It's a shame. Anyway, that is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Congratulations to Inter Miami. They made the playoffs. They got the 6th spot. And by the way, my prediction was right. I said they'd get 5 or 6, not 7. So they ended up with the 6. Next Monday at 7 o'clock, they will visit NYCFC and play a road game. And let's see if they can actually, win. Now, can I say one thing about this? MLS, why are you guys such idiots? I'm just asking. You put the game up against Monday Night Football. You want to grow soccer in this country? You want Tuesday night is dead. Play it on Tuesday night, bro. Why are you playing on Monday night against Monday Night Football? Then the only people that are going to watch are your niche audience. Because that's what soccer, baseball, and hockey are. They're niche sports. People don't care about those sports. We have no hitters going on. Nobody finds out about it. Nobody cares. Aaron Judge is going for the record. Nobody cares. We're not cutting into the programming like we used to. When there was home run chases and no hitters going on, they would cut into the programming all the time. Doesn't happen anymore. Nobody cares. So MLS, why would you only want your niche audience to be watching soccer? You idiots. You freaking morons. Don't put it up against the NFL. Put it on a Tuesday. Put it on a Wednesday. There's a couple of nights that aren't taken up by the NFL. Play it at those times, dude. Be smart. I'm going to watch it because I'm an Inter fan. But if you want to get other people, the guy that isn't an Inter fan or the woman that isn't an Inter fan in South Florida, and they don't really care that much about soccer, if Monday Night Football is on, they don't care about the soccer game. And it's Broncos-Chargers. So it's not like the sexiest game in the world, but it's still football and way better than the MLS. That's the only thing that I saw that I'm going Monday night, 7 o'clock. What is wrong with you people? How stupid can you be? Don't go up against the NFL, man. The worst game you can come up with, well, we had it last Thursday, right? That's one of them. That's way better than watching the MLS. In Americans' eyes. God, it's just plain stupid, dude. You're actually going to run your playoff game against the NFL. Way to build your audience. Instead of a Tuesday night, there's nothing on. Oh, let me watch this. And maybe you win people over. No, let me do it on a Monday night with Monday Night Football. Que clase idiotas. Imagine making fun of soccer than watching a sport that has a 2-minute warning. What a joke. Well, there you go. That's how it goes. In this country, you want it to matter, you better learn how to sell it the right way. MLS had one job. Don't make it on a day where there's college football or NFL games going on, and they couldn't do that. It's just plain stupid. Your league is, you want it to grow, and that's what you're going to do, So Michael's like, a 2-minute warning, really? What's the warning for? They need a break after playing like 6 minutes, need another commercial? Yeah, well, Michael, it's not an easy thing. I get it. Hey, Michael, you can make fun all you want, bro. The NFL is the most powerful league in the world, period. End of story. Okay? No league produces more money than the NFL. End of story. So it's the big boy on the block. You can make fun all you want. They can have a 5-minute warning and people will stand by. Okay? So making fun of the league that dominates this country is kind of stupid. Okay? Maybe you're a big soccer fan and you're butthurt by the reality that I just talked about, but making fun of football is kind of stupid. They're the big boy on the block. They bitch slap everybody around and they crush everybody. So they can do whatever the hell they want, Michael. That's the problem. That's what you don't understand. The MLS cannot. They need to strategically handle things a lot better. And you don't put it up against Monday Night Football. So making fun of a 2-minute warning makes you sound pretty silly. That's another way for them to take a break and bring in millions and millions of dollars, Michael. Okay? They make more in one commercial break than the MLS makes in 3 months. Are you listening to me? They make more in one commercial break than the MLS makes in 3 months. So, no league, no soccer league makes more than the NFL. Okay? FIFA is not a soccer league. Okay? The Premiership doesn't make more than the NFL. The Bundesliga doesn't make more than the NFL. That's how it's done. It's not done as an organization for all soccer leagues. Okay? Dummy. The Premiership is only negotiating their own TV contract. So is the Spanish Primera League, and so is the Argentinian League, and so is the German Bundesliga, and so is the Mexican League, and so is the MLS. They're all separate, sir. That's how it's measured. The NFL is the most powerful league in the world. Period. It's like, what is FIFA? FIFA's nothing, bro. The NFL is the NFL. And then Premiership is just like the NFL, its own league, not FIFA. Bro, you know what? It just don't need stupidity. You're out of here. You're gone. When people make fun of soccer because the referees keep the clock, meantime, I can make fun of a bunch of things in other sports. I'm not talking about money. I'm just saying you sound stupid. Okay? You sound stupid. Michael, whatever soccer does, they're doing it right. They're fine. And the way NFL does run their thing, they're fine also, my brother. But the bottom line is, if the MLS wants to grow, you don't play during the NFL, my man. And if you can't understand that, I'm the guy that loves soccer. And I love the NFL. But I'm not stupid. If I'm running the MLS, I'm not going up against the NFL. Okay? I get it. Some of you, the ab guy, obviously not very smart. He thinks FIBA is the entire league. It's one soccer league. Yeah. Holy moly. Vegas and the NFL love the new protocols that will affect games in the name of safety and ruin your bet. That's what's going to end up happening. The margin for error for the MLS is, and you're going to do that? Put it up against the NFL? That's just absolutely crazy. Panther season, by the way, will start on Thursday. The NHL opens up tomorrow. Panthers will start on Thursday at the Islanders. Is that amazing or what? It's awesome. We got Panthers coming on, and we got the NBA. Yeah, World Cup. I can't wait for the World Cup, man. Apak, sir, you're intelligent. Ab was not very intelligent. You know that FIFA is a governing body, not a soccer league. Okay, Ab's not very smart. He doesn't know when we say leagues, he can't separate the two. Okay? Again, I love soccer, but I'm a reality guy. Michael Pulisic doesn't want to live in reality. Ab doesn't want to live in reality, but I live in reality. Okay? And I don't get butt hurt by somebody that doesn't like soccer or hockey or baseball. I love all those sports. I watch them all. But I know exactly what this country treats those sports like. And they're all the redheaded stepchild now. Baseball used to be the national pastime. Now it's nothing more than a niche sport. It's not a major sport anymore. Baseball fans, seamheads can get mad all they want. It doesn't drive national interest anymore. Only football, basketball drive the national interest. Hockey, niche. Baseball, niche. Soccer, niche. College football crushes those three. Crushes it. It's not even close. It's just the way it is. And I'm the guy that loves all sports, but I know where they stand. All right, we are out of here. We thank Andy Behrens, Alan Poopart, Ira Winderman, and, of course, the man right there, Sean Stanley, always getting it done. Sean, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you, as always. By the way, I love to babble on, and we can also go to Babylon. But anyway, if you're like me, and maybe you want to learn a foreign language, and I got to tell you, my daughter's been doing it, the Babbel, and learning a little Spanish at the same time. I've been actually dabbling a little bit with Italian, but not very good at it. You know what I'm saying? But with Babbel, they make it nice and easy as a language learning app. They have sold more than 10 million subscriptions. Thanks to Babbel's addictively fun and easy bite-sized language lessons, you can finally cross-learn a new language. And you know what, bro? You can move on and maybe go to Italy, go to Spain, go to Germany. You can talk a new language. You can socialize with people. Maybe somebody in your family, right? They come from another country and you kind of want to communicate with them. Listen to this. Babbel, you only need 10 minutes to complete a lesson. They are short. You can do it while you're driving. You can do it while you're walking, power walking, running. You can start having real-life conversations in a new language as little as 3 weeks. And other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel's lessons were created by over 150 language experts and voiced by real native speakers, not computers. When I just started this week, it's kind of funny because you get to hear the accents, so you kind of start repeating it that way. Their teaching methods have been scientifically proven to be effective. With Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps to improve your pronunciation and accent. There's so many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition, the lessons, you can also access podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even live classes. And when it comes to a 20-day money-back guarantee, they've got it for you, baby. Start learning a new language right now. Take the journey with Babbel. Get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to Babbel.com/Big O. That's Babbel.com/Big O for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life. All right, we're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.